Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports. When
it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
I need to talk a little sports with you, Ags. David Nuño here with TexAgs Radio. Billy Liucci here on TexAgs Radio. Olin Buchanan.
We will develop men. We will graduate players. And we will win championships on the field.
The best way for us to win is to do it together.
Been in college baseball for a while now, but I've never experienced anything like 12th man.
The other schools are like, we're freaking Texas A&M, man. Like,
this one's special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
The epitome of what this team has done, right? Gavin homers, Jace homers, Braden homers, Chris Cortez, 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
A weekend with a lot of emotions. Welcome into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Actually, good emotions, but maybe some tense moments, I should say. But Jim Schlossnagle, as the head coach at Texas A&M, is undefeated at home in the postseason, 8-0, and they're moving on to the Super Regional to take on Oregon here starting this upcoming weekend. By the way, it's the Go Hour, and he's Olin Buchanan. The Go Hour is brought to you by the CC's Creations at Maroon U.
Yeah.
Maroon U at CC Creations.
Yeah.
Either one.
Sure works both ways.
Yeah,
right?
both ways. And this show itself is presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the
Rollo Insurance
Studio. And you are our columnist, our opinionated personality, and our good friend Olin Buchanan.
Maybe the opinionated personality should be listed first.
Well, aren't our columnists supposed to be opinionated?
They're supposed to be, yes, they are.
So I'm going to take you through my emotions of the weekend.
Okay.
And then I want you to take me through yours.
All right.
All right, so I'm sitting there Friday watching the Grambling State game, and I came away unimpressed with an 8-0 victory, right? Mm-hmm. Eyeball test. And by the way, I have a very high standard for this team, and I know that I can be wrong in this, but I was like, I just wasn't satisfied with an 8-0 victory. And I talked to Bronny about it. He's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, the game was over in whatever, fifth inning, and, they relaxed, and he was actually right. So there's that portion of it, OB. Saturday, biting nails against Texas, right? And it's postseason baseball. I don't care how you do it. You just freaking do it.
Right.
And they did it, and they ended up winning. And, again, I want to remind you all, an 8-0 victory over Grambling State, and I don't care how you do it against – this is all good things. I'm not saying this is not a negative, but these are just my emotions. And then yesterday, a game that I never felt in doubt, even when it was scoreless, even when they tied it at 1-1, I felt like we got this game. And what do? They belted 5 home runs. They have the new home run record. Gavin Grahovic breaks the freshman record that Jace had for just a year, right? Like, Trent, the offense wakes up once again. Pitching is excellent outside of the 9th inning where Justin Lampkin didn't look good. Other than that, what a performance. And they did what they had to do. And they did it convincingly yesterday.
Yeah, okay. Now, my emotions. I felt like, I never felt like they were going to lose to Grambling the moment that the pairings were announced. It's just a whole different league,
right.
And yet, I thought they could have played better. Grambling in that 7-run inning, Grambling, A&M hit the ball as they should, but Grambling's pitchers also were throwing a lot of wild pitches. They were winning that way. But okay, I came away. All right, you did what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to dominate a weaker opponent, especially one that much weaker. And they did. Okay. Texas, I was concerned.
Yeah.
Texas gave that game to A&M. I think A&M left 14 runners on base, kept getting guys come up with runners in scoring position, and just wasn't getting the big hit. And again, they A&M, and we'll take the gift. Thank you very much. But it was some throwing errors that really benefited A&M. And then I guess they gave a guy the hit on the ball that went to third base.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember who hit it. Was it Sorrell? I can't remember who hit it. And it went to third base. You think Texas looks like they're going to get out of the inning. I don't know. Did the ball hit the bag or, did it just get a bad hop? Whatever. I mean, it was but you know what? On the other side, you just look at the pitching.
Pitching all weekend.
Yeah.
phenomenal, right? Like Prager was great. Like we go to the beginning. Like it was all 3 games. Aschenbeck. And
Sadeo, Cortez came in and struck out at 1.5 in a row.
And when you needed him too, right?
Yeah.
Like he came in, like if it was a good place.
And then
the men were in the corner when he came in, if I remember correctly.
And then yesterday, they started. They finally blew it open and started hitting home runs, and that was fun. I would expect. Am I expecting too much?
It was Teddy Burton who got the hit. There you go.
Okay. I'm expecting too much. Am I being unfair to say, well, you should go out and hit the number 4 pitcher of Louisiana hard?
Well, look at how many SEC teams have struggled in this already.
Okay.
It's postseason baseball, and they all got dudes. And by the way, A&M has gotten dudes from other schools that weren't considered this level of player, and then they have a good postseason play, or they just have a great season, and they come to A&M and they deliver. So my point is, it's postseason baseball, and good pitching trumps good offense oftentimes.
Usually.
And this weekend had a little bit of everything, right?
I think the thing that I came away most encouraged by was like we talked about, the pitching. I thought the defense was really good behind that pitching.
Yep.
And I think I'm still a little concerned about the Aggies frequently, not always, but frequently struggling to get the big hit with guys on base. Now, Braden Montgomery came out and just blasted a 3-run home run. I'm saying, hey, more of that, please. That was
your weekend MVP, your regional MVP. It's good to see Braden Montgomery.
Yes.
Not only is it good to see him, but great to see that slump rearview mirror.
Yeah, but you know what individual? I'm going way off the beaten path here.
Here we go.
But you know what individual, and he didn't play a whole lot, that I came away with think what a weekend he had, even if he didn't play much.
What was that?
Man, that Texas game, Caden Kent.
Caden Kent came in, yeah.
He snares a ball. Looks like a little bit more in the flare, but it's behind second base, up in the outfield grass. That's a big out. He makes a spectacular play to get the leadoff hitter one inning. I think it was in the 11th inning, way back and picking up a hot shot way out on the outfield turf, and then leads off the 11th with a base hit and ends up scoring what became the winning run.
Well, the way this team, I think, this weekend kind of feels like what the season is in a reverse order, right? But like what we saw in that Louisiana game is the Aggie baseball team that we're used to seeing, seizing the moment, taking advantage, really good pitching. Really, the pitching all weekend, like it was phenomenal. Again, if we're gonna and we're not complaining, but if we're gonna nitpick a little bit and you come away undefeated, goodness gracious, that shows how good this team is.
Well, I think that. I don't know. Maybe just there's this. You're not supposed to look at the whole picture. You're just supposed to say you won, so everything's great.
Right.
And it's the whole idea. Yeah. Did you win? Did you play at a level that can win a national championship?
Well, you're going to have games like the Texas game the rest of the way, and they found a way to win. So yeah, I think they did play at a.
And I say Texas gave them the game, and I'll take it. Thank you very much. But are you at a position as you play better and better teams that you're going to be counting on guys to throw the ball away to win the game? Because if you're counting on that, it's probably not going to come.
You know what
now,
I'm counting on?
If you can hit the way you did against Louisiana,
I'm counting on the pitching that we got.
Yeah.
So that not College World Series championship level pitching?
It was
from Ryan Brauninger.
It was.
So, and then with this offense, eventually, I think it's going to wake up. It didn't in that game from extra base hits and all that, but they found a way. And to me, championship teams get lucky sometimes.
Mm-hmm. They do.
on their journey.
There's a lot of luck in winning a championship.
And also, they seized the moment yesterday against Louisiana.
They did.
And Louisiana was a better team than Texas.
They showed it when it mattered the most. Again, I'm trying to look at all sides of the picture.
Uh-huh.
You're not likely to face another pitcher of the caliber because now it's 2 out of 3, and then after you win next week or this weekend, as we all expect them to do and hope that they will, then you get into Omaha, and it's even a higher quality of pitching. But I don't think you're going to see the guy who's probably everybody you see is probably going to be a higher caliber guy than the guys you saw yesterday for Louisiana.
I mean, maybe. And Braden Montgomery woke up, so other pitchers better watch out. And Ryan Prager's been phenomenal, and Shane Stadeo's been phenomenal. Chris Cortez has been fantastic. Like, to me, if you can go undefeated against quality, because I think this was a tough regional. I do think it was a tough regional. Now, Oregon comes in. I don't know enough about them to be able to give you an educated opinion about them other than what Bronny has told me, what I've read online. They have great pitching. Okay?
The last 9 opponents, 4 runs or less.
And they beat
9 games.
And they beat Santa Barbara, who was a good team. Yeah. So it's going to be tough. And I believe, did they not? I think Billy said last week, I might be wrong. I believe they hosted a super regional last year. Nick can fact check that. But the bottom line is, there is nothing to complain about. Your team is in the super regional. They've done exactly what they're supposed to do. And they took care of business at home, undefeated. Other than a 9th inning, they're pitching. How many runs did they give up heading into that 9th inning? Like
1?
They gave up 2 to Texas.
Oh,
yeah, over the weekend,
I thought you were talking about that game.
How many against Grambling State was it?
Grambling 8-0.
8-0. So there you go. So and then you had the couple runs there. So pitching's been great. Offense is starting to wake up. You got a little lucky. I'm okay with getting lucky. It went 11 innings, right? Like, it went deep into that game. And again, you found a way to win. So, and it was against your rival. And you know how tense that game was.
It was tense. It was extremely tense, though. Prager gives up a home run on the first pitch of the game. And you're like, nah, I'm not worried. It's Prager. And, of course.
I was worried. I was a little worried.
I wasn't. I
was worried Prager for about 4 outs.
And then, because he didn't walk the next guy, but then they got double play, and then he just starts cruising. He gives up, one more home run, 2 solo shots. You're supposed to win, and you do. But I'm of the mind, and I'm sure there are those that are gonna, bury me for this and criticize me, and that's fine. But I don't think that even in a win that you can't look back and take a step back and say, okay, this is an area this is something to be concerned about. This is something to be concerned about. This is something to feel great about. This is something to feel great about. And that's what all I'm saying is I felt great about the pitching. I felt great about the defense. I'm still a little concerned about the hitting.
I'm not there. I understand your concerns. I'm not there because I think we saw it wake up yesterday, and again, they finished the weekend undefeated. So let's continue it on. Can I just, for a moment, be selfish and talk about my great weekend?
Tell us.
Got to spend quality time with my kids. Got to go to the ballpark. Saw my Aggie baseball team dominate. Win. I got to see my timeline get real quiet from a lot of orange that was really loud at one point, and a lot of people that I heard from during the softball losing in that super regional, they got really quiet. That was nice to see. I made some screenshots and bookmarks of what kind of comments people made after that one, and I made sure to remind them how this weekend went. It was great. My soccer team won the European Championship again for the 15th time.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah. One of your friends sent me a mean tweet about soccer. He wasn't really. He's not one of your friends. He just, yeah.
You know what I thought? Oh, go ahead.
And the best player in the world just said, you know what? I'm going to go join the best team in the world after we won the championship. So great weekend, and we have Aggie baseball to talk about for at least, and hopefully much more than at least, but at least another week.
One of the saddest, and I'm using sad not as like sorrowful, but miserable tweets I saw all week was some Texas fan tweeted something like, at A&M, congratulations, you beat an underperforming team. So when you lose, then you start trying.
People can't have class.
Then you start trying to say, well, we weren't good anyway, and all this, and your own guys, your own.
I saw a guy tweet, and a guy that I know was like making fun of our bubbles. That was his.
I think that's awesome.
But regardless, you just lost. How about be classy? Well, why is it hard to be classy? Why is it hard to be a classy fan? All fans. I'm not just talking about one fan base. All. Why can't you just tip of the hat? There were some that were tipped of the hat, like, hey, congratulations, and move on. Why is that hard to do for people? Why can't they be classy?
I guess some are. I saw the guys from Army.
Yeah.
Doing some kind of the whatever cheer that Georgia does. The players from Army doing it. Some can, but it's It's the culture.
Yeah.
That's always my answer to everything. It's the culture. It's today's culture.
That's what the culture says.
That's what the culture says.
Kendrick Lamar.
It's the culture club.
Yeah. You love.
Never did.
Come on, you're a big boy George
never
guy.
was.
Yes.
Yeah. Even when he was
Comma chameleon? Come on.
Yeah.
Play that coming back. Huh?
Even when he was like in that band. No, even then.
Well, hold on.
This
Boy George and the Georges. What were they called?
It's the culture club.
Oh yeah, I thought that was that's right.
That's what started all.
I thought I was thinking of the song.
That's but even then.
What's his best hit?
I don't know.
When you went to see him in
Karma Chameleon, I guess.
When you went to see him in concert,
were
you on the front row?
No.
Did you rave with him?
I never saw him. I thought the whole band sucked even then.
How do we get here? All right. If you want to be a part of the conversation, this is TexAgs. This is presented by TexAgs Coffee.
Yeah.
You know, beat the hell out of the mornings.
Talk. Beat the hell out of the mornings. The way you beat the hell out of Louisiana Lafayette.
By going to TexAgs.com/coffee. So 130 home runs.
Yeah.
We hit 5 yesterday. I'm taking credit for it. Okay. So the fifth
Well, you
texter,
called it on Friday.
I did call it for Friday, not for...
Oh, I thought you were saying for the whole weekend.
I think I did say for the whole weekend. I did, but I think I said 4 on Friday. So I was a little off. But that, because we hit 0. But that being said, fifth texter to say coffee to 979-693-1150. A free batch of TexAgs coffee. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, let's go around the room and say hi to the people. We go behind the glass. We say hi to Nick Savage, double duty, Aggie baseball, Bombers baseball, and, of course, TexAgs studio stuff. Good morning, Nick.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, nothing. I'm checking on what y'all were talking about. Oregon last year, did you say they hosted?
Am I wrong? Did they go to the Super Regional?
They won the Nashville Regional, advanced to the Supers, and were knocked out by Oral Roberts. So that's back-to-back years into the Supers for them. But like y'all are saying, it's going to be a fun matchup, a tough matchup for this Aggie offense. Their pitching numbers look good. They look like a good staff, but I think, the Aggies are more than capable of matching them and, outperforming them on the mound. And I think numbers tell you that they outperform them swinging the sticks as well. So I think advantage A&M going into it. And, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I completely expect A&M to win that series, maybe in 2. I'm just saying that I still came away feeling uneasy about the offense.
Yeah, well, they scored how many last night?
What, 9?
They scored 8.
Against Grambling.
So 2 of the 3 games. Yeah, but I'm just saying, they did it. And they took their foot off the accelerator Friday night, no doubt.
They did.
They took their foot off the accelerator?
Oh, Friday night, yeah.
There was no accelerator on Saturday.
Yeah. Which game was it? Was it the Grambling game where it looks like they're going to have a big inning and Lavalette gets hit by the ball on, they had little things go on that kept that from just getting outrageous.
Yeah. Anything else, Nick?
No, sir. That's all.
All right, buddy. Good work this weekend. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Aggies gather at the Angry Elephant, and look who it is. It's Eric Casares.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Hey, buddy.
Feeling good?
I don't know. I feel great. How do you feel?
I feel great, man. I feel great.
Olin, how do you feel?
I feel great.
You feel good. I think you're more of a good.
No, I really feel great. Okay. Now, come this weekend when the game started, I'm going to start feeling uneasy again. But I can celebrate the win. I still also, having some certain things that I'm concerned about.
All right, I need you guys' opinion on something.
All right.
So this weekend, Saturday, since my track season's over, unfortunately, and I'm retired, I ended up going to...
You're retired?
I'm retired, yeah.
No professional running in your future?
Well...
Maybe.
Yes, I'm actually planning to run the Dallas half in December, and I'm actually going to try to go compete and win.
Then how much money can you make doing that?
$9. Yeah. Sorry, what?
I don't know. Whatever.
He does it for the love of the game.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But anyways, I want you to would you judge me if I told you guys that
whatever the answer or the question is, yes.
I was going to say I went to a Mo Irish pub. I had myself a little fish and chips. I had a Dos Equis, and then I just sat there and watched the game and the UFC fights too. So I just had a nice little weekend to myself at the bar.
By yourself?
That's what I'm saying. By myself.
Well,
I'm not going to judge you.
Why would I judge that? That sounds like a pretty good deal.
Well, because some people be like, oh, you got to go out with your friends. You got to go out.
Did you meet anybody?
I talked to like some old couple next to me, but
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't like just sitting there being awkward.
Were you swiping on your phone the whole time?
Did you?
No. So what I did was 'cause I went there originally.
So you didn't holler at anybody?
No, but I went there. I went there originally.
Hold on. Can you do that again, please? I want to make sure we capture it and save it for the annals.
So you didn't holler at anybody?
I like the first one better. All right, Eric, continue. I'm so sorry.
But no, I just like sat there and I watched the game, of course. But I also went there because I thought they were going to be showing the UFC fights, but they didn't. So I ended up pulling up on my phone, and so I kind of had my phone sitting on my wallet.
How did you do that, Eric? Okay, maybe not.
And then I did not use an illegal stream, David. And then I just had the normal TV. So it was, what I'm trying to say was I had a really good weekend.
By the way, it was good. It was a good UFC night.
It was.
I'm sure you didn't pay attention. Dustin Poirier, he lost, but he was a warrior there against Makhachev.
He really convinced me that he was going to win it too. So
I felt good for him, but no, Makhachev, he owned him.
He's the guy. He's the man.
All right, so how about we actually get to some real content, shall we?
Of course. Let's get on into it. So women's golf standout Adela Cernusek finished 67th at the U.S. Women's Open. The junior is coming off of an awesome season. That included all SEC first-team honors, 69.94 stroke average, which was number 2 in the SEC, and was also a program record. Great news there. 8 top 6 finishes. First-team All-American. She capped it off with a 2024 individual national championship. She's had a busy season, but she will be active this summer. She's not done competing, set to compete in the 2024 Arnold Palmer Cup July 5th through 7th, the European Amateur Team Championships July 9th through 13th, Dana Open July 18th through the 21st, and then 124th U.S. Women's Amateur August 5th through 11th. So, like I said, she's going to be staying busy if you want to keep up with her.
Good stuff, yeah. I saw Garrett tweeting about it, or Facebooking about it. So good stuff there. Let's do this. Let's hit a break. We'll come back with more. I do want to ask the people, are you more... What's the word for you? Not concerned. Concerned. You're not fully convinced the offense is back. Is it maybe the best way to...
Do you have some hesitations or apprehensions?
Or are you like me, I feel good? Where are you? Let me hear from you. 979-693-1150. You can call or text us at that number. Let's hit a break. We'll come back with that. And also, Power Index. You're familiar with ESPN's Power Index, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really get it, but A&M comes in on it. And I was interested in something about A&M ranked ahead of a team that is supposed to be a national power, which I found interesting. So we'll get into that when we come back. Right now, if your organization or business is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, then you need to check out the Association of Former Students, because they bring Aggies of all ages together for all these incredible events throughout the year. You've got marquee events like Aggie Ring Day, All Aggie Hullabaloo, The Gathering. They all welcome tens of thousands of guests out there. And there are a lot of sponsorship and vendor opportunities to get your brand in front of the attendees there at those events. All events offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand. Options include title sponsorship naming, on-site presence, activation, recognition in social media posts, and much, much more. There's also advertising opportunities in both the Texas Aggie magazine and the Aggie newsletter, which are seen by over 230,000 people. So if your business is ready to engage with Aggies, choose a partner with the organization that's been supporting the Aggie Network for over 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. That is sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. It is the Association of Former Students. Welcome back into TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hours presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. David Nuño, Olin Buchanan here. Monday, June the 3rd,
Hey,
2024.
It's on my mind real quick. Can you imagine the emotional state of the Arkansas Razorbacks fan base today?
I know.
Shame.
Yeah. And LSU trying to fight for their lives.
Trying to fight back. Yeah.
Mississippi State out.
Oh. Georgia's in. Florida's playing today against Oklahoma State.
They got a chance. They do.
Tennessee's in. Kentucky's in.
And Texas A&M is in.
Yeah.
Good times had by all. One of the cool things about this regional, look, I know a lot of us watch all the Aggie baseball games, but it was cool to see the who's who in the attendance if you're watching on TV. I watched the second half of the Texas game from home, and of course we all saw the kid who was dancing, who's Billy's neighbor.
Yeah.
You've probably seen him in the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So we saw that. He was all over. And then, of course, my daughter Isla knew who he was from school. He's a famous kid, apparently. And that was cool to see.
Stevo.
Huh? Yeah, Klein. That's right. She
Yeah.
did say Klein, yeah. And I saw the dad tweeting about it. It was funny. But it was cool to see him on camera. Luke Evangelist got a lot of TV time yesterday. I don't know if you saw that. He purposely put himself in a position for the cameras.
Oh, you mean at the game?
At the game, yes.
It wasn't on like some kind of reality show somewhere.
No.
Okay.
He won't get picked for that. I saw Billy Liucci and his crew in the background quite a bit.
I sat about 3 rows behind Wade Taylor at the game last night.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think Gary Blair was behind.
Yeah, Gary Blair.
Yeah, he was there. It was cool.
Of course,
Coach
I saw
Elko.
Yeah.
He was there, I think, all weekend.
Yeah, that's one of the many things I love about that guy.
All the recruits, not all the recruits, but many recruits were at the game Saturday. I assumed yesterday maybe there were some, but for sure Saturday there was a bunch. So we talked about it like
I said for one game,
there's the Griddy.
I sat one seat away, so it was me, the guy next to me, and then President Walsh.
Oh,
Welsh.
yeah? Did you give him a high five?
Yeah. For the Texas game.
Yeah. But we said that these next few weekends would be crazy in Aggieland, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it legit is. You had Texas in town this past weekend.
Right.
You had a regional. You win, you move on, right? You have this weekend the super regional, Oregon coming to town. The soccer match, Mexico-Brazil, which I know you're excited about, will be here. Next week.
My niece and wife are going to that game.
Are they?
Yeah.
It'll be a cool atmosphere. And then the week after, hopefully, the Aggie baseball team's on the way to Omaha.
I expect that to be the case. Despite all my current apprehensions, I do expect that to be the case.
And then your other role model, I know Boy George is one, but the other one, George Strait, will be at Calfield too. So what a place.
That's Man George.
Oh, yeah, they do share a name.
Yeah, George.
The King.
Yeah, the King and the Queen.
Okay. Whenever something awkward happens, I just give out the phone number just to break the 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. All right, I see a bunch of your messages coming in. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. We can kind of look at the text line, Eric, and we can also look at the YouTube page. Why don't you start it off?
Yeah. So I got a text message, and I also got some breaking news, David. But
breaking news?
Yeah. You want me to read the text message first, or you want me to do the breaking news?
I mean, is it legit breaking news? Or
Okay. So NFL star wide receiver Justin Jefferson becomes the highest paid non-QB in NFL history, reaching a 4-year, $140 million contract extension that includes $110 million guaranteed, and not only the highest paid wide receiver, or I already said that, excuse me, but having a crazy offseason right now. There was multiple teams this offseason that inquired about trading for him. All those rumors go out the window, so big news for him.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. Congratulations.
He could go buy Baton Rouge.
Who's clapping back there?
I don't know.
I heard that too. What the heck?
Oh, interesting.
He could go buy Baton Rouge and have money left over.
Let's actually do some thoughts on A&M baseball, shall we, Eric?
Yeah, so this one was a 972 number. He said, it was good to see the bats come alive yesterday. The guys needed that. Still a little concerned because good pitching usually shuts down hitting, and I don't know anything about Oregon's pitching.
Oregon's pitching's good.
Good.
Yep. Good.
It has been.
Bronny did say that this team will remind you of an SEC team.
Okay.
So there's that. Hopefully they remind you of an SEC team that's not very good at baseball.
I wonder how their pitching, Oregon's, of course, would compare to Arkansas.
I think that Arkansas is on a different level.
And A&M beat Arkansas 2 out of 3 here.
Yep. And all they got to do is win 2.
Win 2.
Win
With
2.
Prager and Cedillo. pitching
Eric?
the way they are.
Matt in San Antonio. I have a little hesitation on the Aggie offense. Scoring 8 runs against Grambling may look good on paper, but Arkansas scored 21 runs against Grambling and LSU scored 26 runs, and those games were shortened due to run rule. That said, we finished great last night with the offense, so I'm not too concerned, just slightly.
Fair.
Hey, I'm good, man. Just win. I don't care if you win 1-0.
No, well, I agree with that.
No, I know you, but I'm just saying, like, I don't expect these to. I don't expect this to be the. Who's the most dominant football team we've ever seen? The 85 Bears?
Yeah, probably.
Right? Like, I don't expect
72 Dolphins.
Games to be blowouts every time. You won convincingly in a decisive game, in an elimination game for another team. You won a nail-biter against your rival, right? In a game, and this is the second time you faced them this year, and they're always intense games. And you beat the team you're supposed to easily. So
Oregon has scored 5 runs or less in each of their last 5 games, and the game when they had 5 was a 11-inning game when they beat San Diego 5-4.
By the way, that Texas, I can't remember his name at the moment, starting pitcher, he was phenomenal. I mean, his pitches.
LeBaron Johnson.
His pitches were either fantastic or in the dirt, but most of the time he was great. But I did feel like just get that pitch count up. And I know Brauninger was telling me he can go 120 pitches. Great. But once A&M started finding their rhythm, I think they made life a little bit more difficult for him. It wasn't as easy as it was in the beginning. Let's hit a break here. Let me read this from Mike in Deer Park. Congrats to the Blinn Buccaneers on their national championship. Let's bring another natty to the Brazos Valley. Mike 77, appreciate that. Yeah, congratulations to Blinn. That's awesome stuff. We'll hit a break. Football.
Always a good time to talk about football.
And more baseball. We got Schloss, hopefully, at the 9 o'clock hour. Milliken Reserve Time, farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. They've committed to trading lightly on that land that Milliken Reserve can be found on, creating a sanctuary for family, for nature, and for community. 2,600 acres of open space, 30 miles of trails, and you got homes all over the place there. They want to connect families to nature and to each other. An extensive network of trails throughout a wooded landscape that includes walking and equestrian paths, creeks and ponds, and gathering areas. They're committed to maintaining and restoring that natural habitat. And here's the thing about it. When you go there, you just connect with family and with each other, right? And you have a good old time hiking, biking, fishing, canoeing, kayaking, equestrian trails, evening yoga, summer camps, farmer markets, farmer tours. You name it, they have it all out there at Milliken Reserve. The website is millikenreserve.com. Again, that website, millikenreserve.com. was really hoping for your idol, George. TexAgs Radio presented by...
We used to only do George Strait bumper music.
No, some of the other one.
It's not my idol.
No?
I think you're a lot more fascinated with him than
Curious
I ever
George?
was. I would prefer Curious George and the man with the yellow hat.
Here's what your response would be from Anonymous when a Texas alum says, well, I finally saw up close Aggies being Aggies. You can't see it at football games. I said, yeah, Aggies are fun. But it was totally passive-aggressive. I don't understand what that means.
I don't either, and I don't
Can't
care.
see the football game? Yeah, you haven't been here in a decade, bro.
I don't care either, you know.
Just bro him. I don't care how old you are. 70, 30, bro him.
Great fan support. That's what Aggies
for everything.
Fun, great fan support. Yeah.
Yep. Let's talk about this ESPN Power Index, okay?
Okay. This is football we're talking about.
This is football now. So A&M's most recent FPI, and I wrote down what FPI actually stands for. The Football Power Index is a measure of team strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward for the rest of the season. FPI represents how many points above or below an average a team is, okay? So A&M on this list came in at number 8. I'm not sure how I still don't get it, okay? But national ranking 14th, 8th in the SEC. That's what I meant to say. But they were ahead of Ole Miss. Ole Miss here, an FPI of 12, projected wins and losses 7.9 to 4.2, national ranking 16th, playoff percentage 20.7. But A&M, I'm going to go over it again, FPI of 13.6, projected wins 7.6 to 4.5 losses, national ranking 14th, playoff chance 21%. I find that interesting.
Well, you know, I go back to I always wonder why.
Now the wins, for Ole Miss is higher than A&M's at 7.9 to A&M 7.6, but the playoff chances were higher for A&M.
Maybe they think Ole Miss has an easier schedule. Yeah. I don't know that they do, but maybe they think that. Look, we were in Oxford. We saw A&M with the lead late. We saw A&M trying to kick a field goal to force overtime, and of course, you know, we know about their special teams. There's not a whole lot of difference. We saw A&M have a chance to score a touchdown on 1st and goal from the 2, and your quarterback just, for whatever reason, tries to force a pass and gets intercepted. There's not a big difference. Plus, Ole Miss last year had a decided advantage, we all know, on the sideline. So why would you look at A&M and Ole Miss and say, oh, man, these two teams are light years different?
I mean, I don't know. Ole Miss has at least done it.
Right.
That would be what?
But A&M with a backup quarterback easily could have won that game if Max Johnson said, oh, the guy's not open, I'm going to throw the ball out of the end zone, and we still got 3 downs to score from the 2.
But I say this because I think I talk out of two sides of my mouth sometimes, because I agree with you, man. If we just do that, we win that game, bro. And we say that a lot about A&M athletics, but football. But that's life in the SEC. Mm-hmm. If you don't make that play, you don't win that game. These games aren't necessarily blowouts. These games there are chances in the fourth quarter to win games. Mm-hmm. What do you do in the fourth quarter? Now, strong defense, which not only are anonymous insiders telling Athlon Sports this could be a really great defense, I believe it in my core, because I think this defense, without Coach Elko, should have been elite, right? They were really good, right? You could throw on them, but they were numbers would suggest they were a good defense. But I think with Coach Elko's influence, with the personnel changes that they've made, they're going to be elite.
The only reason I have any apprehension, I'm apprehensive Olin today, but the only reason I have any apprehension about A&M defensively is that second linebacker spot opposite Torian York, because you're replacing a guy who was an All-American and was spectacular.
But I would never gladly lose Edgerrin Cooper, so please don't take it like that. But losing Edgerrin Cooper, but gaining something on the back end, which I really think that they'll be significantly better. Edge was so good, so freaking good. Like it's a loss. It's a huge loss. Just like losing Anaya Smith is a huge loss. But if you get to the quarterback the way I think you're going to get to the quarterback with Nick Scorton and company, right? And the back end is better, you can maybe overcome some of the transitional points that happen there at linebacker.
But when Edgerrin Cooper's playing, I know what I'm getting. We're talking about what we might get. And I'm with you. I think they're going to be better. But I go back to the Tennessee game. You remember how Tennessee couldn't do anything offensively? And Edgerrin Cooper got hurt just for the half. Remember that? And he didn't play the half. And Tennessee had more success.
Yep.
Now, is A&M going to be better at corners? Yeah. Do I think they're going to be better served with Bryce Anderson playing safety all the time? Yeah. And I think the kid that came from Florida is probably going to be a really good nickel back and all those things. I expect them to be really good defensively. I'm saying the only apprehension I would have is you're replacing a guy that was just absolutely an All-American.
All right. If you have apprehension there, though, where's some place that you go, I know we're going to be fine here?
Oh, a defensive line. I know it. And I feel like
do you think they'll be better than last year?
Yes. Yes, I do.
No Walter Nolan, no Fidel Diggs.
No DJ Durkin. Well, Walter was good when he wanted to play, but Walter was also a guy that was constantly getting hurt, constantly taking plays off.
And by the way, I liked Fidel Diggs a lot.
I like him, but did you ask yourself,
are you better with Nick Scorton?
Are you better with Nick Scorton?
Yes.
Probably.
You are.
And I'm guessing that we're not going to see your Scorton asked to line up on the tackle and then turn around and try to run back to cover a split tight end.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're going to do stupid things like that.
Well, but I do think that is more norm in football than it used to be. Like that is, you see other teams do it as well.
With a defensive end.
Yeah, you see that, yeah.
Downfield. I see them sometimes, in a zone that's not too far deep, but you're trying to cover a guy one-on-one down the field. And I think a tight end who could run.
I don't know if common is the right word, but it has become more common to see it than in years past.
Well, I hope we don't see it.
I can't argue with you there. But the bottom line is these games are going to be tight. Do you have the positions that will help you win those games at the end? Special teams, you think they'll be better?
Well, they brought in a special teams coach.
So got to be better.
I can't see them being worse. How many teams get 3 field goals blocked in a season?
Offensive line.
I think Elko's already said they're going to be better.
Okay.
And I think they're going to be. They have to be.
So the only position on
the question
defense
is, do you go from making a D on your report card to a C or a B?
What does a C look like last year for that team? Did they win 8 games with a C instead of a D?
They probably get another win, maybe 2. Maybe you beat Tennessee and Ole Miss if you can come off the ball and actually on 4th and 1 knock somebody backwards.
And if you get a B, now you're talking 9-10 win team.
Last
right?
year,
yeah.
Oh, Jimbo's still your coach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're saying, to summarize, the only area defensively that you are apprehensive or asking questions is linebacker.
Well, I think it's the only area where I can look at and say they may not be as good as they were last year.
Okay.
Because I think they're going to be better at corner.
And offense, you can say that about wide receiver?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. You can't lose Aniyah Smith. And for all the things about that Evan Stewart let you down on, the talent was certainly there.
Yeah.
Even though, again, we've talked about that. J.D. Walker was fine, but you don't have Aniyah, and I think everybody knows how much I admire him and his ability. You can't take that guy off and say you're better.
Right.
Maybe you can be better in ways like you're talking about defensively to compensate for that loss.
A lot of chatter on the YouTube page and TexAgs.com about baseball, so we'll certainly get into that here on the next side of the break.
Well, chatter goes with baseball. Right?
It does. We'll have Jim Schlossnagle at 9 o'clock. Brauninger will join us. We'll get into all of that here in a moment. Right now, Caldwell Country Chevrolet time. Highway 21 in Caldwell online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. You go to that website, you find the deals, You see the vehicles that they have there on the lot, get a feel for it, then you go to the lot, and you're going to be blown away by the entire experience when you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. A couple things to know about it. They really have great pricing when you go there. They're going to give you great trade-in value. They got the best customer service, which includes complimentary pickup and delivery for their service customers. But the overall experience, when we're talking about pricing and the entire package that you get when you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, second to none. That's why a lot of us here at TexAgs have gone there. That's why R.C. Slocum goes to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. It is the place to go to find your vehicle. 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. He's Olin. I'm David. Talk to Cade Bickham. You're familiar with Cade Bickham's act, right?
Yeah.
He's plays on the club baseball team here. They just lost in the playoffs, but congrats on a great season for Cade. He knows baseball. And I go, Cade, are you like Olin? Are you worried about the offense? He's like, nah. He goes, I don't care how you win. Just win. And then he brought up, and I know you feel the same way, by the way. I know that, right? But he brought up Oregon. A good point. Like, they're used to hitting in the elevation, and they're coming here. They're used to that weather, by the way, being a little bit more comfortable than it's going to be here in the afternoon, hopefully, when they come play here.
Yeah, it won't be a scorcher.
So there's a lot of reasons to feel good about where we're going.
When I say the apprehension, it extends beyond this weekend. I absolutely believe that A&M is going to beat Oregon. What I'm saying is I'm apprehensive because I'm hoping to win the national championship.
Yeah.
And so I want to see more out of the offense, because I'm thinking of it as is that going to win you a national championship? And I hope so. I think the pitching has certainly been capable of winning it.
I'd like to see a third starter emerge, right? There's still some questions there, but look, however, and I know you agree with me here. I'm not arguing with you here, but however you win, just freaking win. You know that you're excellent at home. You've had 3 losses. You've beaten every non-conference team you've played here. Just continue that trend. We're in Omaha, and then a new set of problems emerge, and the best of the best will be there. So, yeah, you better have your offense on a high level. You got to take care of Oregon first, and that's not a guarantee.
And by the way, I'm assuming in Omaha, assuming we get there, that good offense does not mean 10 runs. It may mean
4,
4 or 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about you get the guys on base and you get that big hit to bring them home.
Yeah. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Eric Cassars. Eric.
Yeah, so, going back to Oregon, this person, Melissa Money on the YouTube page, said, I bet Oregon has also never experienced an atmosphere that they will face this weekend. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, probably. You know what? I don't know this, and I don't even know where they played the series this year, but I would assume because of the couple national championships that there's probably a great baseball atmosphere in Corvallis, Oregon for Oregon State. So I don't know if bubbles are going everywhere, and I don't know how crazy they are, and I'm sure they don't have the ball 5 cheer and all those things, but I would assume that it's a great baseball atmosphere at Oregon State, Corvallis.
Look, there's a lot of great atmospheres. You're all playing for second place to what we get at Bluebell. I don't know. I've only been to Bluebell, but that's what I'm going with.
I've never been to a baseball game at LSU.
I have not either.
So I can't.
But I'm just going to be a homer and just call it the way it is.
I mean, it's a great.
I've been to Rice baseball games. I've been to U of H baseball games. I have been to a baseball game at in Texas, Dish Falk, whatever it's called. I've been there, but
and I thoroughly enjoyed myself as a fan. I saw all 3 games. So my friend Jack, who was good enough to share his tickets with me, and it was a great experience, so much fun. And I hung on every pitch, especially in that game against Texas, and it is a phenomenal game day atmosphere. I'm just saying that I haven't been to other places to be able to make that judgment.
Brandon asking, does anybody know when super tickets are going to go on sale, how much they'll be? I have no answer on that, but I'm sure there'll be a press release at some point that comes out, and once we get that, I'll read it. I haven't seen anything come through on that just yet. Eric, let's try to get another one in.
Yep, 713 number. Met the father of the Raging Cajun second baseman Taylor last night. He was very nice and extremely complimentary of the Ags and how they were treated. Said the atmosphere is unlike any other in college baseball, and he and his son were grateful for the experience. Just thought I would pass that along. Love hearing great things like that.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too. Yeah.
I like to have a great atmosphere and a great fan support and rabid fans, but still are grounded enough not to be jerks to the people that are visiting.
OB, a couple things have happened. Brady Montgomery back, right? Fair to say?
He hit the ball hard almost every time he came to the plate this weekend.
Gavin Grohova going yard yesterday. To me, that's a big deal. Get him back on track.
I hope so. I need him back to be playing his best.
Thank you, Obi.
You bet.
When we come back on TexAgs Radio, I think we have Jim Schlossnagle. I don't want to bother him because they had a late night, but I think we might have him. We'll have Bronny. We'll have your text messages. We'll have Liucci. We'll have a lot of stuff to get into. It's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Bronny's in studio with us after a busy weekend of baseball, a great weekend. Let's go straight to the hotline. We are joined by Jim Schlossnagle here on TexAgs Radio. Schloss, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. So just started off, overall thoughts on the weekend itself, where we saw a little bit of everything, some great pitching, a nail-biting game, and, of course, the bats wake up.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously we won a regional. It's hard to do. It's hard to make a regional, despite what anybody thinks who should or shouldn't be doing whatever. I heard somebody say about making super regionals some sort of expectation. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, we played well. I think the regionals, you look across the board at the games, the teams that, like Arkansas, Arizona, the teams that had great seasons and lost. It just shows you how in our sport, it's never about the best team. It's only about the team that plays the best. That sounds coachy, but it's real. When teams are playing with their season on the line, you have players that are playing with potentially their career on their line. For example, a senior who doesn't have eligibility left. Every pitch has so much riding on it, and any one given baseball game can go in any direction, which is another reason why I greatly prefer the best 2 out of 3 series, because that if we could go to that, the 32, then the 16, then the 8, then the Omaha, which we can talk about, that would more directly reflect the season, and therefore the better team would more likely win. So anyway, that's a lot to say that we're excited to advance forward. I was really proud of our pitching staff. I've never been more proud of a group of hitters than I was last night, considering the conditions, which I got to be careful what I say, but the conditions were as tough as I've ever experienced, and the way our hitters handled it, I literally couldn't be more proud of them.
Well, I want you to expand upon that, Coach, because in the press conference last night, you talked about a kind of a pregame meeting with the hitters and how they executed the plan. And sitting there calling the game with Monaco last night and going, it's not just about the home runs and the hits that they're getting. Is look at the quality of contact up and down the lineup. So was that kind of was that why you were proud? Because they executed just getting back to themselves and controlling whatever they could with the strike zone?
Yes. So we had a big meeting. It's just, I think I said in the post game, number one, Nolan Cain spoke up, which he rarely does. And he said, hey man, remember how, this is the best offense that I've ever coached. And he's been a part of a national championship team and our good offense in 22 and all the great offenses at LSU. And he just reminded them, this is the best offense I've been around. And the reason you guys are good is because A, you control the strike zone, and B, you play for each other, meaning that you don't need to go to home plate thinking you have to be the hero and, get out of character and swing to get the big hit when it's not your pitch. Don't be afraid to take the pitch, which is a ball, and take your walk if it's there and pass it on to the next hitter, because our lineup can be that deep. And so I thought that, Saturday against Texas, a lot of the first half of the game was how great LeBaron Johnson was. I mean, you can have that split. That's when a guy has a great split or a great changeup, and you can't see the pitch. You think it's a fastball, and you just can't see it. If you've never been in the batter's box, you don't understand. After that, though, against Bame and the other guys, we were, and really in the last month, we've been more out of character than in character. And so that was the meeting. And then we go out in the game, and I thought our guys handled the strike zone awesome. We still had, I think, 8 walks. I think there should have been a lot more than that. But then the balls we swung at, we put good swings on. And like you said, we hit several balls hard. And what was challenging, as Bronny, about the game, is the guys who were struggling, who had all the punch outs the night before, they were the ones hitting the balls hard, like Schott and Grahovic lining out the right field. Grahovic, the first batter of the game, smoking a ball 107 miles an hour. And so you're trying to put together the plan, and you execute it, and hit the ball hard, but you hit it at somebody. And then the frustration just builds and it builds and the tension builds and it builds. And that's why, like, Braden's home run with 2 outs and 2 strikes, you could just see the tension come off of him. You could see it come off of our team. And then shot hits the liner to right field. You try to keep him positive because he controlled everything he could control. And then the next at bat or the one after, he gets the homer. So I'm hoping this is a really big turning point for us. Obviously, we're going to face another great round of pitchers this weekend, but that's a long answer to yes, they did a great job.
Well, I want to talk about a little, Jackson Appel. There's a lot of folks that are listening to this, and most folks that are listening to this that really don't know what he's going through physically day to day. And it's kind of, I think you got to start counting the number of warning track flyouts he's had over the last month. Is that like a product of him just the wear and tear of catching on a season, or and do you think that getting him off his feet for a couple of days can get him more toward that early season kind of freshness that we saw?
I mean, he had plenty of off days between the end of the conference tournament and the regional. He hit a home run in and he hit a big home run in the conference tournament against Tennessee. I think that he hit some balls in that ballpark that were at the track, and he hits the ball to the middle of the field a lot. He just missed one to right field yesterday, but the season is what it is. I mean, he's not the most. He's strong, but he's obviously not the most physical player. He's not a big guy. So, but yeah, we'll get him as much rest as we can. He is battling. He's playing through a lot, as everybody is. Teddy Burton is playing through a lot. But it is what it is. I mean, these guys all say they want to play professional baseball. That's what the season is. I think what people need to be looking at is the 2 runs, or at least 1 run, Jackson Appel saved last night when the game was in question. He had the first and third, and trying to catch Cortez is tough, and we got the strikeout that he had to block a pitch on with 1 out, and then, of course, the strikeout, or not the strikeout, but the wild pitch or whatever, where he flipped it to Chris to end the inning. So, man, he's given us every single thing he has, and, we'll keep him off his feet as much as we can this week to have him ready for the weekend. But, I mean, his body composition is not going to change in a week. So hopefully he can get some balls to fall in.
When you're going through and you've managed so many games and you're in one like that, the Friday night game Saturday against Texas, and being the visiting team, and I just wish they would change that rule so bad. I mean, what does the regular season mean if you're going to have to come to your own ballpark and host a regional and be visitors twice? But you're going through that game and Evan's in, and it's a classic game, and you're going, man, as good as this is against their offense, if he makes one mistake, this game is over. They're celebrating on your field, and I think it just speaks to Evan's toughness to be able to, I don't know that it goes underappreciated anymore, but he made every one of those pitches was with the game on the line, and he just kept cruising.
100%. You nailed it. And believe me, I'm trying to remember the last time I used my best reliever in a tie game as the visiting team. But I just felt like that game was that important. And I also felt good enough about if we lost the game, our depth of pitching compared to what Texas had left the rest of the weekend, no disrespect to their players. And I thought Louisiana had good pitching. Of course, they had the big reliever. Thank goodness he was able to get in the game before our game yesterday. But yeah, Evan, I mean, anytime you're the visiting team, man, it's just like you said. I mean, in 2014 or 15, 14, David Pierce was coaching the Sam Houston team, and we played a 22-inning game, and we won the game as the visiting team, that's just literally impossible because, like you said, you're just literally one swing away from the game being over. Even if you score, you still got to go get them out. And Evan did, an incredible job. I mean, he's a legend in Aggie baseball forever.
Schloss, we knew it was just a matter of time for Braden to get back and do what we saw this weekend, winning the MVP, just offensively seeing what he was able to do, and also the absolute darts he was doing from right field.
Yeah, man. I think the one to third base, he wasn't expecting the guy to go, and I don't think the dude was planning on going because he stutter stepped around the bag. And then, obviously the throw was just high enough. I can't believe Grovic even caught it. I thought it was going in our dugout. But, his arm's a real weapon. Arm strength of outfielders in today's game is really not as important as it used to be. But when you have a great one, it is a factor, right? If it's average, that outfielder arm strength is only a factor if it's really bad or really good, right? That's what takes into play, and at least in my opinion. So, but Braden has a rocket, and that was huge. And I mean, how about the ninth inning? I mean, they made the first out of the game at home, first out of the inning at home plate. Sorrell did a great job of getting the ball to Ali, and Ali made a great play. And Appel had a good deep going at home plate to get the runner. That was a huge out because anything can happen, in these games.
Yeah, and that was Matt Degg's going to live and die, I guess, by his reputation as being essentially overly aggressive. But I want to go back to you talked about LeBaron Johnson's start, and it was no different to me watching that game and going through it. It was, or at least it was very similar to what happened with Hagen Smith. And you've said, how do you beat a great starting pitcher? You get great starting pitching on your end. And man, Ryan Prager, it's like every time you've handed him the ball in a big spot this year, he's just such a tone setter. And I thought, Coach, it might have been my favorite start of his because he wasn't sharp early, and he gritted and grinded his way through those first two innings. Yep,
you're right. He's definitely, in this off season, if he comes back to school, he got a lot of work to do in the weight room. I mean, a lot. Got to be more physically strong to handle the length of a season. But thank goodness he can pitch, right? And so he wasn't sharp early. We got lucky with a few balls. Played good defense on a few balls, but he found it, and that's a sign of a great pitcher. That he doesn't have to have his A game to beat you, even when he's facing another great pitcher. So I'm really glad he's on our team, and he's just so smart, right? His intelligence plays into who he is. He and Max, Coach Wiener, work really, really well together. And like I say, the best trait a player can have is being self-aware and kind of knowing A, who he is as a player, and B, like what he has on that particular day, and not trying to, all right, man, this is what I got. This is what I got to deal with today, and this is what I got to try and get him out with. And he did a great job of that.
Speaking of self-awareness as a player, I love the interaction and then the adjustment last night from Travis Chestnut. I think he went up on a first pitch swinging with men on, and he pops up, right? And I was watching him go back in the dugout, and there was some frustration there. And then the next at bat, he goes in and he sees pitches and gets to a full count and rockets a ball back up the middle. So even, Coach, and you know this, is these guys, even as they get older, some of them still fight a little bit of an identity crisis.
100%, like 1,000,000%. And that's why, again, self-awareness is the best trait. I mean, probably in life, right? It's like as soon as you can really know who you are as a person, it doesn't mean you can't strive to be better, but what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your areas of concern? I mean, that's how you improve over time. And Travis, on one hand, realizes, he loves base running. He loves his bunting. He loves who he is. But there's still an ego in there that, hey man, that guy just hit a homer. I can hit a homer too. Yeah, buddy, you hit your homers when you get in deep counts with two strikes. And so, without revealing what we need to do, I mean, I need to control the at-bat probably a little more so. But at the same time, you want to trust the player. You want to give him freedom and let him have fun and not feel like he's being overmanaged. So, we can't have Travis swinging and doing that. He thought he could get to a fastball, and that lefty that had just come in, we knew he had a great ride to his fastball, and to hit it, you better at least see it once. But Travis felt like he could get to that pitch and didn't. But his last at bat was awesome, and obviously he had impact on the game on the bases.
Schloss, Shane looked so good yesterday. How important was that reset, the physical part of it and the mental part of it, for him to get back and get that time off?
Yeah, I think it was good. Obviously, he pitched well. Lafayette likes to swing. Louisiana likes to swing. And the other thing I loved about him being out there is he doesn't panic on the run game, and he can really field his position. So him being able to field his position, that one of the challenges of playing Lafayette, as we knew, or Louisiana, as we knew going in, is what do you do with the third baseman, right? Because they'll bunt at any time. The one guy tried to bunt with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning to get another base runner on. So do you play the bunt, which almost all of them, especially the right-handed hitters, do, or do you play back? If you play the bunt, then you're going to give up like the chop double down the line. You're giving up space. When we played those guys in 22, one of the advantages we had is we had an upperclassman third baseman. Trevor Werner played amazing in that game, dealing with the exact same offense. Grahovic, as a freshman, learning a new position, I felt like Deggs was going to try to exploit that, and Gavin was going to have to experience it. So having a pitcher like Shane that could get off the mound and get to some balls and help Gavin out, I felt like was going to be a big part of the game. And so he did a great job. He threw strikes. I mean, he's always super competitive, and I'm glad he can get maybe another 6-7 days rest and be ready to go next weekend.
In your career as a coach, I'm sure you've had some really incredible and talented shortstops, but have you had 2 back-to-back that were as quality of defenders as you've had with Hunter Haas and Ali Camarillo? I thought Ali, we've seen him do it all year, but I thought he was sensational with the glove this weekend.
Back-to-back, no. I mean, I had some really good ones at TCU, a guy named Keaton Jones and Tommy Sacco, who was an All-American type player. But those, in terms of being back-to-back, I can't remember that. It's funny because he and Haas do it different ways, right? Haas is incredibly self-aware. He doesn't have a great arm, but he has great timing. So when he has to make a play, he can get rid of the ball quickly. Just a great baseball feel. And then Ollie has a lot of the same feel, but just, elite skill. And he's, he puts together good at-bats too. So, yeah, we've been really lucky the last 2 years to have those guys. And we think that, both Caden Ken and Jack Bell potentially have a chance to do that in the future. And, we'll see what happens at the end of the year and who decides to do what and what's out there. Transfer portal opens today, so no rest for the weary in recruiting. So there's a lot going on. But, yeah, Hunter, and if we can come up with a shortstop every year that's like those 2 guys, the Aggies will be in good shape.
If I'd have told you going into the weekend that you were going to go 3-0 and Jace Lavalette wasn't going to have 1 extra base hit, would you have found that hard to believe?
He didn't get a double yesterday, or they didn't count that as a double in the right center?
No, it was a single and advance on the throw.
Single advance on the throw.
Yeah. I mean, he was fine. He was good. He got on base.
Yeah. I thought he had a really good weekend. He just missed a breaking ball on that at-bat that he struck out. I mean, just missed it. Fouled it straight back. Then I think he would have hit that ball. I've seen him hit that ball in the ballpark 1,000 times. Yeah, I mean, I could have believed it because I believe in the depth of our offense. We've certainly won games when Jace didn't get an extra base hit. But Jace's extra base hits show up when he's not thinking about extra base hits. If he stays on the baseball, continue to try and evolve as a hitter to use the whole field and hit those low line drives, those homers will show up.
Schloss, we appreciate it, sir. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a great day. Gig 'em.
Jim Schlossnagle here on the hotline. All right, we'll come back with another segment with Bronny. After that, John Scheschuk will join us, and 10 o'clock hour, Billy Liucci. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Ryan Brauninger with us now to just break down his thoughts on the weekend. Saw you and Richard's recap from the weekend. It was great. And just, I wanted to start off this segment with something that I started off the Go Hour with, because I love talking to you because you see baseball through, I think, more than one lens, as a player lens, a coach lens, and as an analyst, right? And I was sitting next to you Saturday, and we were kind of going through my emotions of Friday. Friday, I was like, man, we won by a lot. I wanted more, okay? Saturday, tense game. Holy smokes. Wow, we found a way to win, and we matched their pitching with our pitching. Yesterday, we did what we had to do. We went for the jugular. We got it done. That was my emotions through the weekend. Take me through yours.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's good baseball. Let me say this. So this is 2 out of 3 years in the Super Regional.
Mm-hmm.
That going to a Super Regional is like, it's so tough because regionals are a lottery and they're different than any other weekend that you play throughout the year. But Texas A&M baseball, prior to 2022, hadn't been to a Super Regional since 2017. That shouldn't happen. There shouldn't be a 5-year gap at this place. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go 2 out of every 3 years to be successful. I understand as good as anybody how difficult that is, but I do think the trajectory of the program has changed. And I think that now, with the excitement of the fan base and the talent that you've acquired on the roster, like it's a way clearer picture to say, okay, this program can be in the final 16 playing more often than they had been in the past. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they should be commended for that and kind of resetting the bar here a little bit. And that's why, whenever you let go of Rob Childress and you went and hired Jim Schlossnagle and he put together this coaching staff, that it was kind of maybe a breakthrough moment for this program going forward. Anyway, but for the weekend, I thought, the Grambling game got so overanalyzed by everybody, not just you, but it was by everybody. I don't know. There were people coming up to me at the ballpark. What'd you think of that? With that kind of tone of voice.
Right.
And I'm like, once it was 7-0, it
was over.
His game was over. And Brad Rudis came in and got him out of that bases loaded jam. The game was over. And it was like both clubs knew it, and it was like coasting into the finish line. They also had 10 hits, 11 hits, and all but one of them were singles. This offense just doesn't do that very often. It was a heavy north wind day. Really, on Friday and Saturday, it was weird June conditions for Olsen Field.
Yeah.
Very weird. That game against Grambling, that wind was blowing almost straight in for the majority of the game. When do you ever see that in June? Once that wind flipped last night, then we saw the offense that we'd seen all year, and that's why they're so deadly in this ballpark. But I thought the Grambling game got overanalyzed. Like, would it have changed the outcome of the weekend whether you beat them 8-0 or 80-0? No, because the Texas game, it doesn't matter. We know that game, the records, throw them out the window. How LeBaron Johnson had pitched the entire season up to that point didn't matter because it's A&M versus Texas. Me and Billy were just kind of joking in a text exchange before the game started. Like, this guy has thrown 40% strikes this year. That's a terrible percentage. You just know that because it's this game and this atmosphere.
You told me before the game, like, watch what he does, right? And you said it.
And not only was he throwing strikes, he had, like, command of his full arsenal, like dotting fastballs up to 97 miles an hour. And from where we sit in the press box, that angle, I couldn't tell that it was a splitter. I thought it was a slider that A&M kept chasing. But when in the postgame, when I heard that it was a splitter, then I went, oh, that makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Because splitters are way tougher to see. Splitters and changeups are the two hardest to see because the spin axis on the ball is more similar to a fastball. Like, a lot of times the splitter it'll be slower, and that can mess with your eyes, but it's so much tougher to see than a slider or a curveball.
Sure.
So once I found out that he was throwing a splitter, I went, okay, like, completely understand that. And then Schloss was right, though. Like, their chase rate against Texas was incredibly high, even after LeBaron Johnson got out of the game. And I thought in, like, the 5th, 6th, 7th inning, A&M was like, that's when they started to press at the plate because you saw a lot of swing out of the hand from all the hitters. They're like, they wanted to get it done so bad. They were so sped up that as soon as the ball came out of the hand, the barrel was moving. And that's not how you want to hit, especially whenever you're not seeing it well. But that's a fight. That's a battle, internal struggle between I want to do it so badly, right? And so I'm sped up, but you need to slow down to see the baseball better, right? So that they were fighting themselves in that way. And last night felt more like the offense that we saw against Vanderbilt and Georgia, and
100%.
Even that game 3 against Arkansas. But yeah, I think we saw them win games this weekend like we've seen them win games all year. You had the first game where some of the midweeks they were able to they didn't play great and they won, right? And did we overanalyze
Nope.
Texas Southern? Did we overanalyze Prairie View?
Nope.
Then why would we overanalyze a Grambling game?
That you won 8-0.
That you won 8-0. And then on Saturday, that reminded me of Arkansas, Hagen Smith night. Like when you have a guy on the mound that's going the way LeBaron Johnson was, or there's going the way Hagen Smith was, you throw the beauty points out the window. And it's in postseason baseball, it's not a beauty contest anyway. Who cares? Right. And so at one point in the 6th, 7th inning, you're going, just win the game. I don't care what it looks like, just win the game. And you did. And then last night, we saw them bludgeon somebody like we've seen them bludgeon somebody the entire year. So
right.
I thought they won games this weekend in the ways that we've seen them win games throughout the course of the season, all different.
Can you explain to me, and I know you've explained it before, but I just forget, and I've gotten a lot of text messages about it, how it works, why A&M was the visiting team twice in a row? Like, what is...
Yeah, so the NCAA in their infinite wisdom, when they started to change some of the postseason baseball, what you could and couldn't do, the things that they added were things like, excuse me, the things they added were you can play walk-up music now. You can play your fight song. As long as you do it for both teams, you can do all that. That's what they added, something as frivolous as that, which I like.
Right.
I do like that. It helps bring atmosphere to the ballpark. But, hey, why wasn't the first thing that you changed the reward system for the team that's hosting? So basically the rule says now that you have to even it out. So if one team has been home and one team has been visitors, the next time they play, they're going to flip.
Right.
If it's even, then it basically goes to a coin flip, right? But so because Louisiana had played one extra game than A&M last night, and they had been visitors twice.
That makes sense. Okay.
Then the A&M had to be visitors last night. If it would have gone to today, A&M would have been home.
One more thing before we had to let you go, and you're going to do a lot of radio. Do you want to do another segment? Scheschuk's joining us. You want to stick around?
I love Schesch.
Yeah, let's stick around for that.
John Scheschuk there was something that happened on the radio broadcast last night where, Will Johnson made a comment. So I'm hoping that Schesch is going to put him in a headlock next time he sees him, and I want video of that.
Okay. Well, let me ask you one thing. We'll hit a break. We'll bring back Schesch. I forgot I was going to ask you now. No,
I got you. I threw you off. You can go to break. Maybe you'll remember.
I'll think about it
you
on
can
the
ask
other side.
a more well-rounded Aggie baseball scholar and Schesch about it, then I may have an opinion.
So we'll have Schesch, we'll have Bronny, we'll have all that and more here on TexAgs Radio. Right now we're talking about Heritage Films. That is my buddy Chance McClain's company. He's my buddy because I've known him for over 15 years. He's a great guy. He created this company to make documentary films about families. That's what he does. That is at the core. He loves telling people stories, and that's why he created Heritage Films to tell your dad's story, your grandpa's story, your family business story, your family ranch story, a family event story, maybe a group of buddies getting together story, 2-hour documentary done at the highest level. No doubt about that. Documentary styles that Chance does. All right, you can also do a Yearflix, which is not a Heritage film. The Heritage film's the 2-hour movie. The Yearflix is about a 20-minute Q&A video reserved for the youngers. You put your kid on the stool, ask a bunch of questions with a green screen in the background, a little bit fun video to kind of be a benchmark video to kind of learn a little bit more what they're into now, what their likes, dislikes, favorite subject, all these kind of great things. He'll do that. And then you can do a follow-up video in a couple years and then a follow-up video next to that. You got yourself a 3-part, 4-part series. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films, the website yourheritagefilm.com. Dying to hear this story with John Scheschuk and Will Johnson up, Bronny. It's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's George Rollo Insurance Studio. Ryan Brauninger is with us as we go to the hotline. John Scheschuk joining us to talk all things Aggie baseball. What's up? How you been, John?
What's up, David? What's up, Bronny? No fat pat today. What's up with that?
Hey, sometimes we got to get clearance from the FCC. Sometimes we got to wait.
Oh, man. Next week we got to have that on. We got to get back in rhythm here. Got us the championship this weekend, so we need to do it again.
Can I say something about Top's Drop?
Yeah.
It says explicit on the title. I don't think there's maybe one curse word in the middle of the song. Most of it is clean.
We play the YouTube version, which is the clean version. So
okay. Good.
When we play it.
I thought it may be an issue about, it says explicit on there, but there's not. I think there's just one curse word in the middle.
Well, that one curse word would end the show in Ryan Broadcasting. So, hey, so can you tell him what you were alluding to earlier?
Shesh, I'm sure you listened. I think you were listening to the broadcast last night. Yes,
sir.
Shesh texted in after the Ali Camarillo home run that moved this team ahead of the 1999 team in team home runs. And he was making a joke about, I just don't want anybody to break my walks record, essentially, right? And so Will Johnson said, that Shesh was trying to remain relevant, And so I think that Shesh should put Will in a chokehold next time he sees him.
Oh, man.
No. So, Bronny, you're on the wrong side of this. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for you. So why Will said that was I made that comment when Kaler was about to break that walk record on air. I said, come on, man. I don't want you to break the walk record. I have to maintain some relevancy around here. So that's what Will was alluding to. So I don't have to put him in a chokehold. Now, I will do that if you need me to, but I don't have to do that.
Hey, Shesh, let's start off at least Aggie baseball-wise with what they've been able to do under Jim Schlossnagle, 8-0 at home in all these postseason games and taking care of business this weekend the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, and look, I look at it as I'm a small business owner myself, okay? So I'm constantly pushing to improve our facility, improve our culture, improve our way that we do business. And I look at Schloss the same way. Now, he's heading a much bigger beast than my example as a small business owner, but it's the same concept. And if you look at what he's done since he's been here, you mentioned this earlier, Bronny, with that staff, with Nolan and Coach Early, and you just go down the list of all the studs that he's got on that staff, everywhere from his strength and conditioning guy to anybody who's involved with it. And then you think about the way he sets expectations. There's zero doubt in my mind that there's going to be a 15,000-plus seat stadium that's a mini Major League ballpark. Zero doubt in my mind. There's zero doubt in my mind that he's going to win a national championship. You look at what he did with TCU, and I'm not saying that as hyperbole, by the way, guys. I'm not saying that as a big A&M baseball fan, which I am. I'm looking at it from a business perspective and how he establishes culture, how he establishes expectation, how he demands these things from his staff and players and the administration and our fan base. All those things go hand in hand. And you look at what he's done every step of the way, all the way back to his days at Tulane. They've won. He goes to TCU. Of course, we know about UNLV, but he goes to TCU as well. TCU doesn't have what Texas A&M has from a resource perspective, yet he's able to get Kurt Sarlos there. He's able to get Bill Mosiello there. He's able to get Zach Etheridge there. These are really good coaches, and he builds that program into a winner and arguably a top 5 program. So now you back into what he's got at A&M, which we won't need to discuss. We all know what A&M has to offer. And that's why I say with confidence that all those things are going to get done. Program's in awesome shape.
Sesh, what did you think of Saturday night against Texas as a guy that's played in the rivalry? And I know there's that burnt orange can make your blood boil a little bit. How on the edge of your seat were you?
Yeah, I think I was tense just because I wanted A&M to advance in the tournament. Of course, Texas sweetened the pot a little bit there, but I heard your assessment of Johnson, and that guy was nails. I mean, he was tough. I did sense some tightness there from A&M. Just watching it, I think everybody sensed that. It's a big game, and you play a little bit differently in that scenario, and I think Texas adds to that. But the lights were really bright that night, and like you guys were saying, it ultimately doesn't matter. They won the game. But that was a really good pitcher they were facing. And like you said, Bronny, man, the records and all that goes completely out the window in a game like that. It doesn't matter how it happens. It doesn't matter if you're tense. It doesn't matter if you're nervous. All that matters is you get that victory, and the Aggies did that. But no, as a fan, my wife and I are both Aggies, and we were fired up to see them beat the Longhorns for sure. That was a lot of fun.
Talking to John Scheschuk here on TexAgs Radio. John, offensively getting Brady Montgomery going, and really the entire team. I think yesterday, Gavin's home run, too, to me, we needed to see that. They needed to see it.
No, 100%. I mean, Bronny, you always hit the nail on the head, but you hit it on the head, for that broadcast. Let's see what's going to happen with the wind shifting. Let's see if this is the offense that we've had all year long, and that's exactly what happened. And I know that everybody had the home runs last night, and, of course, Gavin's was a big one. But, I mean, Caden Sorrell stepping up, Braden stepping up, Ollie stepping up. I mean, just an awesome offensive production yesterday. It doesn't surprise me at all once they got over that psychological hump of beating Texas. Now they're just playing baseball. And this is what I've always said. I was on a team that went to Omaha. We lost our first 2 games. The frustrating part for me is not those 2 losses, but it's the year before when we lost to Mississippi State in the regional final in heartbreaking fashion with 2 great pitchers that could have propelled us potentially to a national title. But you start to get that experience and you start to just play ball. So when we went to Omaha in 99, man, the lights are there. The Miami Hurricanes are there. You name it. They're all there, right? And you start to think about the press clippings of what these teams have done in years past compared to who you're playing right then and there. And I think you saw that with A&M this weekend. You got the UT rivalry. You got the 2-0 start to a regional, which we statistically know is a huge advantage. You got the pressure of that game. That valve is released, and then boom, they play a good Louisiana team and just smoke them in the finale. So that was good to see.
Yeah, and I thought that A&M did such a good job against Louisiana, Shesh. And where the Raging Cajuns thrive is on creating pressure. So a couple of ways that you alleviate that is, A, you play from ahead. Make them try to nickel and dime you from behind. It's essentially like if you were playing an old-school Big Ten football team. Like, the last thing you want to do is have them get ahead or be within striking distance where they can do what they want to do. So you get ahead of them. A&M did that. And then for a team that thrives on pressure, like I said, Shane Sadeo was like the boa constrictor on them. Like, he just suffocated the strike zone. I thought it was really good game plan and execution, both offensively and defensively, to win a regional.
You're 100% correct. I heard Schloss this morning talking about Sadeo falling off the right side of the mound and maybe reducing some of that pressure off Gavin. But you're 100% correct. The way Deggs operates is to apply that pressure consistently. And I don't know about you when you play, Bronny, but I always hated playing teams that were committed to their craft. It's kind of like football. When somebody gets in the I formation, like, by golly, they're running it 40 times whether you like it or not. It's the same concept. And when you play those West Coast teams, or you play somebody like Texas or Louisiana, they're committed to the bunt, they're committed to the run game, they're committed to that pressure application. It's a different style, and it does get in people's heads for sure. You have a third baseman that boots 1 or 2 of those, next thing you know, you're in trouble. So I agree 100%. Sadeo just took them out of the game completely, and of course the offense did too. And I know we're about to see an Oregon team that comes in here that's not that traditional West Coast style, but that style of play, and more importantly, when somebody has an identity and they're committed to that identity, to get them off kilter is tough to do, and the Aggies did a great job of that this weekend against both Texas and Louisiana, in my opinion.
Hey, let's wrap up with this, and I want both of your thoughts. Just Oregon overall. I know, John, you talked a little bit about them. You said that they're similar to an SEC team. Is that how I heard you say it?
Yeah, I think they're going to look physically and athletically like a lot of the clubs that A&M has played this year. They rely heavily on starting pitching, but offensively, and we said this whenever that we were examining the regionals and this potential super pairing, and I said, look, that Santa Barbara regional, for me, the most talented team there is Oregon. And then you start going through their schedule, and I haven't looked at a lot of the tape or their film, but you can go through their schedule, and there's not a lot of blemishes on it. Like, there's maybe one bad weekend where they lost on the road at Stanford. So how bad of a weekend really is that?
Right.
This is a good team coming in here. They're not going to small ball you like traditional West Coast teams do. They're going to play more like Oregon State than they are UC Irvine, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. John, any closing thoughts on that?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, you're spot on, Bronny. And look, we had experience way back when the Washington Huskies came in, or University of Washington came in to the College Station Regional way back in 1998. And it was exactly what you're describing, Bronny. You're spot on. They were, I would say, even more physical than our A&M team, and we had some big dudes rolling out of there. But they were fast, big, strong, exactly as you described. And I'm looking at some of their stats here. I mean, you got Jacob Walsh with high home run numbers and RBI totals. You got Mason Neville with high home run totals. And, of course, their pitching over the weekend was solid, even to the tune of, I believe, was it a shutout last night or a complete game? But I know it was it was a big-time performance there. So, yeah, it is not going to be a bunting team or a running type of approach. It's going to be more slugging and more physicality. And I think that'll be good for A&M because that's what they've played against all year long.
Shesh, appreciate you, sir. Thanks so much, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great day and good job. Keep up good work.
Kick 'em, bud. There's John Scheschuk on the hotline. Appreciate his time. Bronny, thank you, buddy. We'll get a lot more Bronny throughout the week. Right now, if you're not able to enjoy this summer as much as you want to, well, you're missing out, guys. If you got joint pain, back pain, wherever that pain may be, you need to reach out to the good people there at QC Kinetics because your knees and your shoulders and your back should not be bothering you. You should be able to do what you want to do because there's medicine or actually there's treatments out there to make you feel so much better. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here at QC Kinetics. Call them today. They're the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and I'm talking about lasting long relief there in pain. So no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. They have advanced treatments that harness your own body's ability to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue so you can walk, you can run, you can hike, you can play golf, you can move pain-free once again. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a true pioneer in this regenerative medicine field. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. Stop putting it off. Take action now and live your best life once again. 979-452-6000 is the number. QC Kinetics, 979-452-6000. That's 979-452-6000. We're back here on TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for Around Aggieland, presented by Normandy State Bank. Normandy State Bank, rock solid banking. The website is normandstatebank.com. And with that, we have Kay Naegeli.
Good morning. How are
Wedding,
you this morning?
baseball. What else do you have?
That was it. Just wedding and baseball. Did the old phone prop up on some tables at a wedding because I have some Longhorn cousins as well who were trying to talk smack after that first pitch home run, but then the wedding ended. We ended up going to a house and watching that 11-inning affair, and it was great.
You sent me a picture of me doing the horns down
I
thing.
did. I've had that saved. I don't know why.
And you're like, you should post this.
I don't know what it was from. I was trying to think about what it was from originally.
I don't know. But you told me to post it, and I'm very. I wait, right?
You wait till you can and not receive backlash.
Well, I mean, because I will fight people. I will fight them. I will, But no, I'm kidding about that. But I don't want to celebrate until it's time to celebrate.
Exactly. Yeah, I had it in the queue ready to, for softball last weekend, but couldn't exactly use
I would have done it.
So I know it was so close that we could have, but luckily we got some payback and got to use it this weekend. So
what do we have in Around Aggieland?
Yeah, so let's get to it. I know we've talked a lot of baseball, but I just want to highlight the Bryan-College Station Regional team. Braden Montgomery was named your MVP. No surprise there.
6 of 14?
I believe so. I believe it was 400. He batted 400 this weekend. He was back to being Braden Montgomery. Also MVP, Griddy Kid. Oh, see, Nick Savage with the great graphic. 400 average, a home run, 5 RBI, 3 walks, and 1 run scored. What a performance by Mr. Beaumont there. Hopefully we'll see a lot more from him this weekend. And then additionally, other Aggies named to the all-regional team. Shane Sadeo, no surprise there. Evan Aschenbeck, also no surprise there. We're both the pitchers. Caden Sorrell in left field.
God, he was great, wasn't he?
He was. Braden Montgomery in right, and then Ted Burton got the nod at first base.
Teddy
he
B
also had an insane weekend. So yeah, that was good to see. And then most of this Bryan-College Station team is Louisiana players, and there was only one Texas player, Kimball Schusler, as DH. So great to see for A&M. Also shout out Griddy Kid. I know we had a lot of content coming from him on socials, but it was awesome to see. I think everyone appreciated just a good weekend overall. Good vibes. There's plenty to smile about.
So they have not announced the game times or the game dates yet, right? But I know somebody noted on the Aggie baseball schedule page that it had June 8th listed on there. So that mean they will start Saturday, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe do they do regional or supers where it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
until it's announced, we'll just say TBD.
Yeah, TBD. That will be against Oregon, obviously, duck hunting season.
There was a video game when I was a kid called Duck Hunting. Have you seen the videos of that?
Was it the GIF that Richard posted with the little,
probably is
shooting?
Yeah, it's a little shooting game. Yeah, I didn't see him post it. Yeah, it was an old school game.
There you go. Well, hopefully we can get it done this weekend. Additionally, Texas A&M's national champion Adela Korosek, oh my gosh, I'm butchering that, Korosek, placed in a tie for the 67th place in the 79th U.S. Women's Open on Sunday. So she had a great overall season. And additionally, 25 Aggies track and field Aggies punched their ticket to the 2024 Outdoor National Championships in the NCAA's West first round. They will compete in Eugene, Oregon this weekend. So we have some teams going up there, some teams coming down here, back and forth. So best of luck to all athletes participating, and hopefully we see some more Aggie baseball wins.
KK, great job.
Of course.
Thank you very much. When we come back on TexAgs Radio, I think we'll have Billy Liucci. We'll talk to Billy. We'll get to your text messages. We've classed up the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Mac is in there now, so we'll check in with her on some text messages and whatnot. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can do it multiple ways. You can tweet us. You can text us. You know the deal. 979-693-1150. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We are back here on TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Maybe in a moment we'll call Billy on the hotline to get his thoughts on everything that happened this weekend. Not sure when we'll get him here. But right now, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Micaiah McDonald's there. The Mac Attack. We got so many other nicknames for you, Mac, or that other people have given you. We'll come up with our own. What's going on in your world?
Nothing much. Just turned 21 last week.
What?
Celebrating my golden birthday.
Happy
21
birthday.
On the 21st. So that was pretty exciting, pretty enjoyable.
Congratulations.
A lot went on.
A lot went. Okay, so now that I'm intrigued. Tell me more, because I think your family's listening. Let's hear exactly what that means.
They took me to a couple of restaurants. You know, we live in Houston, so they took me to Kiss. I also went to some Sunday fun days, did some day partying. So my parents really showed me what it was like to
be 21.
To be 21.
So your parents were with you throughout the partying?
They were. My parents can party too. Even though they're 46, they still
Okay, hold on. Why you gotta be rude?
I'm not being rude.
Even though they're 46. So you're saying, like, even though they're 46 and they're younger than your current host, they can party too. Have you ever partied with me? You have no idea how good that is.
Uh-oh. I'm nervous.
Mac,
okay.
I have in Nashville, and it's not that fun.
I don't think you were that fun, Nick, to be honest with you.
That's not true. Richard would say otherwise.
I spoke. You didn't.
You spoke? What do you mean?
Like, this was you. This was Nick in Nashville.
I was having fun.
Yeah, so was I. And I stayed out late. At least to 9:45.
You were locked in. You were trying to make some connections.
I was locked in. Speaking of locked in, Billy Liucci's about to walk in studio. So let's get a text message or two in, Mac, if you don't mind, please.
Okay, on YouTube, someone said, big surprise, just dropped in to hear David talking about fighting people.
What was I saying earlier about fighting? What did I say? I don't remember talking about fighting. Did I talk about fighting?
You mentioned something. I told Mac to read that because I thought that was funny.
What did I say?
You definitely said something in passing about like, oh, I wish you would or something like that.
But I said that on the air?
Yeah.
God, I suck. I'm sorry.
I thought that was funny.
But I wish you would, though. I really do. What else do we have?
BTW requests more Brauning this week. Stop and listen to him is understanding a college baseball game. And hopefully he'll find out what was Coach irked about that he won't talk about.
Look, he doesn't have to talk about it. Brauning basically told us the umpire wasn't very good. So there's that. By the way, I know that when Schloss talked about Braden's throw from right field to Gavin Grohovic, which is a little bit too high, I thought he made the tag when I first saw it. And even in the second time, I thought he had him. And then there was that play at second base that Braden. Nick, what was your opinion? Do you know which plays I'm talking about?
I was talking to Luke. What
about Braden's throws? So the one at third base that was a little high, but I thought he applied the tag on time, and there was the one at second. And I thought Braden got him in there.
Yeah, I think I was calling a Bombers game while that was going on, but I was still kind of keeping an eye on it. I think I know one play you're talking about, and I agree. I couldn't comment on the other one, but yeah, oh well, they won. Doesn't matter.
Yep, it does not matter. All right, let's get another one in, Mac. Interesting. Very interesting. Got another one?
A couple of people are asking, why don't the Ags wear the maroon shoes that you have on the desk with the helmet? What's going on?
I don't know. I haven't asked their fashion coordinator. I'm not sure who. Bronny, I think we changed here, so I'm pretty sure.
Pretty low.
Hey, buddy.
Pretty low.
How are you, sir?
Come on.
I like that. I like that hoodie.
Thank you.
I like that.
It's not maroon.
But it's kind of maroonish.
I wish it was maroon. It would be really, if they had a clean maroon version of this, because it's a good feel, good fit. What's happening?
How you been, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. So let's talk about the weekend itself.
Who's there? Bronny, somebody's wearing cologne.
I always wear cologne every day.
Well, I don't notice it like that every day.
Okay, so just one spritz. Good.
What's up?
Hey, man. So this is how I've started my baseball content this weekend, or today, has been like my emotional roller coaster, if you will, of the weekend. The game on Friday, they won 8-0. I wanted more, and it was plenty, if that makes any sense. I wanted more just because I'm that guy. Like, give me more stats, okay? They won 8-0. They were great. Saturday, biting my nails all game long. They found a way to win. That's what championship level teams do. And then Sunday, they went for the jugular. And that's kind of how my assessment of the weekend and my emotions tied in. I now go to you for your thoughts on that.
Friday was Friday. I think there are pros and cons to getting such a bad 4 seed. You see, there's a 4 seed playing today at East Carolina. Like, you saw High Point create all kinds of problems. I believe it was over there, and that was at the Clemson Regional.
Mm-hmm.
Southeast Missouri State, or Southeast, whatever they are now, knocked off Arkansas 1 seed. So, like, you run into A&M played Davidson in a super one year. Grambling was a cakewalk of a 4. And I thought that was fair because I thought they gave, because of this regional thing and what they do, they're constantly trying to push teams like TCU and Texas or match up A&M and TCU. We always seem, and there's such good baseball in this region that the Aggies a lot of times are going to get a pretty tough situation. I saw so many regionals that looked so much easier. For them to go 3-0 this weekend, I thought was really impressive. Louisiana's a good team. I think, we over fear them because we as media, we fear the upset. Mm-hmm. But like I said before the weekend, A&M, it's a scary regional because of the A&M Texas thing and because of the talent Texas has. They came in conference tournament notwithstanding very hot. Louisiana for 3 years, not 3, several years under Matt Deggs, a real program. But they haven't won a regional yet because usually they're placed in regions where the 1 seed, just the better team. That doesn't guarantee you anything, as we've seen this weekend and every season, but I felt good about A&M being the best team. My big concern for this whole team for 2 months, I've said this, has been game 2 of a regional. Because if you think of had they lost that game that night and had to play the next day, play in that humidity all night till midnight, all that emotion, and had to play Louisiana the next day with that funky lefty they threw, and then the one of the best relievers, if not the best in college baseball, that can go long innings. That was going to be a very tall task. Texas found out about that. And then you'd have to had gone through Texas twice. You saw how Ace Whitehead pitched yesterday.
Yep.
He was exceptional. And that was kind of their last pitcher. And then you saw that. Once he was done, they were done. But you would have had to have gone through Louisiana's pitching, coming off a game where, you struggled to scrape anything together, and then you'd have had to face Whitehead and navigate that Texas lineup, and then play kind of a, then I think it finally would have been back to advantage A&M. But had they lost that game, that was going to be a very tall order. And it's not just this regional. It's anybody. You lose game 2 of a regional, whether you're 1 seed, 2 seed, or 3 seed, it's really difficult. So I felt like had they lost that game the other night against Texas, all this advantage that you'd built for an entire season is out the window.
Yep.
And that's what Slosh, I think, was talking about late last week, of why, to him, you want to get find out who the best teams really are. You play series, and you're to Omaha, or 2 series, 3 games, same thing you do all year. Me personally, I kind of like this format. It's easy to say today. If we were sitting here covering Arkansas, I might feel a hell of a lot differently. Yep. The last 2 years, what TCU did to them last year, and then this year, going 1-2 in their own region. This is very hard to get out of. And what did Slosh say? Like the expectation of a super regional. I don't know how he worded it. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but basically saying it's weird to just expect that. Or not weird, but it's just
it's hard.
I think the goal at this place every year should be Omaha. The goal should be to host a regional and a super regional. The goal should be to reach Omaha in the Final 8, and that's exactly what it is. To expect it, and you start expecting it as a staff, that permeates to your players, and I think you end up looking like Arkansas.
Yeah.
has the last couple of years. I think you end up looking like, a lot of teams that are going to lose a regional that they're hosting and bow out in some instances early, right? Like Arizona. I don't know about them. They didn't expect. They were new. But Arkansas, I think, is a good example. So I think he's always going to keep that edge. It's like, this is getting out of a regional, I think, is harder than getting out of a super in terms of there's just so much more unpredictability. And when you get, like, you're playing a super, you go down 0-1, it is not the end of the world. And if you're the better team, you still feel like, okay, we're the better team. We can win 2 games. You're the better team. You can look at the 2 matchups and go, if we can get through Saturday, our Sunday pitching is going to be much better than theirs, and we should rake and kill. That's why I've thought that regional was what scared me so much more than the super. Because I think A&M, what happened yesterday is you saw A&M essentially against like Sunday pitching. Like you saw against Arkansas, like you saw against Ole Miss, like you saw against LSU. And even in the games they've lost on Sunday, I think part of it has had to do with they were up 2-0 and the other team was extremely desperate, but they still generally scored and hit. That's what you saw yesterday. And that's why regional, I feel pretty good about. And we'll talk more about, super. We'll talk more about Oregon here in a second. But regional, I've been worried about it for a while because I'm like, the whole season, and you lose that second game, and it's like you go from building this insane resume and expectations going up, 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 and then your back is against the wall immediately. One bad game, one bad starting pitching outing, run into a great performance like LBJ had. Whatever it is, one bad play. Texas learned that. One bad play, and you're not done, but your back is so far against the wall there. And so, to me, coming down the stretch of that Texas game, when Prager pitched so well, and then Aschenbeck came in, and that dude's a warrior. If he had to pitch today, he would. And I'd bet a lot of money he'd be really good. But to pitch him as long as they did, and you're going, man, they're going all in to win this game. And like Slosh said, it's not the end of the world. They did have other pitching to help them come up through the loser side. But, man, there was so much at stake. And Nuño, to be the visiting team, and I'm glad they need to change that rule. I'm glad they are, it sounds like. Why in the hell would the higher seed not be the home team every game? On all sides. But if you're the 1 seed, you've earned that throughout the course of the year.
You would think.
It's like the NFL playoffs going, well, the Chiefs had the best record, so they get to play the first game at Arrowhead, but because they played their first game at home, they have to go on the road for their second game. It's stupid. It makes no sense. But for Texas to come up with a chance to walk the Aggies off, and they got bats. Okay, up and down that lineup, they got like 10 to 18 home run guys. All it takes is a leadoff double because they're bunting him to third. Yep. So you're basically saying leadoff double, runner on third, 1 out. One swing of the bat, home run. Aschenbeck's getting into his 4th inning. What he did was incredible because every pitch was a potential, like, catbird seat to the brink.
Yep.
Every pitch was lose to your bitter rival in front of all your home fans and watch them celebrate on your field, walk you off. Every pitch. And every player in that field, like, the pressure was so high. I can't say enough about the team, about Evan, and about all those guys and how they perform because, like, things weren't going well for them throughout much of that night. Prager, first pitch home run, what does he do? He settles down. He gives up one more run the rest of the way. Just had the immaculate inning. He wasn't missing bats early, and then he found it. The whole team just fought. It's rare that I've been that proud of an A&M sports team because of what was at stake and the level they performed at when things weren't really going right. You saw some guys at the plate really struggling and scrapping. You saw frustration. You saw terrific effort from LBJ on the other side and their relievers. you saw a Longhorn team that wanted that game every bit as bad as A&M, every bit as bad as the fans. Aggies just, they wanted it just as much, but they also they hung in, and ultimately they're the better baseball team. But on that night, they just needed to hang in until it broke their way, and that's what they did.
To me, this weekend was what a championship team is supposed to look
Yeah.
like. We want it to be easy, right? We always want it like, we feel so much better, like we hit 5 home runs against Grambling because that's what we're supposed to do, and we just mop the floor. But this is a championship weekend where, again, Ryan Brauninger did what he did against Arkansas. Again, you matched an excellent pitching performance. Your offense, or your team takes advantage of situations. You play clean defense, they don't. And then you mash against Louisville. Oh, excuse me, not against Louisville, against Louisiana.
Yeah, and look, by the way, they're 5-0, 7-0 at home in the postseason under Schlossnagle.
8-0, I believe it is.
8?
Yeah.
Okay. Why 8?
I don't know. I thought it was 8.
It's 8. They went 3-2. Yeah, made 3 this weekend, 5 the first year. So they're 8-0 at home. That's a testament, to the crowd there in Bluebell Park, Olson Field. They're like Olson Magic, Section 203, like the crowds that come out. I will say this, though. There was a noticeable drop-off from Saturday to Sunday, and I get it. So emotional all the way to midnight. I think there was more confidence that they were going to come in and beat Louisiana, which I think Louisiana is every bit as good as Texas. They showed it yesterday. Both teams took turns playing a close game and then kicking the other one's ass. Like, I think they're very even level teams, okay? In some areas, ULL is better. I don't think they even do ULL anymore. I think it's UL. But they're better in some ways. So, and maybe a tougher matchup sometimes, the way they play. But my message is this. It ain't Arkansas coming in this weekend. It's not the Longhorns, okay? You're not going to be seeing burnt orange. You're going to be seeing all kinds of weird shades of green and yellow and gold and black or whatever it is they wear on a given day. Oregon's good. They hosted a Super last year. They should have been a World Series team last year. They were heavily favored. They lost to Oral Roberts at home in a kind of epic 3-game series. Oregon's a good program. Behind Stanford, I'd say right now, they're the best. Arizona's out west too, but it's like they're one of the top programs out west.
They won 40 games.
They're really, and that was like a downer year for them, a downer, whatever, more down, whatever. They're a program that recruits. They're a program, and they can pitch to tough. That is not an easy matchup for A&M. Don't think it is. And you see it every year in super regionals anyway, but this team has talent. Get out there and come with that same desperation, that same hunger that we saw when A&M played Louisville 2 years ago here, that we saw when the Aggies took on TCU and emotions were high because it's TCU and slush. Same deal with Texas the other night. Come with that energy because this team's going to need it, and you want to be able to overwhelm the Ducks as a fan base, as a crowd. You want to be able to combine with this heat to melt them and send those ducks in search of a pond and some water. Sound like you now. You want to be able to do that, though, and the crowd, I think, my message is bring that Friday energy or that Saturday energy
throughout
to both or all 3 games this weekend.
We'll hit a break. More baseball on the other side, and we got some football stuff to get into here. Right now, a moment for Rollo Insurance. They're the official insurance provider of TexAgs Radio. The difference is real. They're going to help you find whatever insurance situation is the best for you. They've done it for so many people here in the Brazos Valley. They've done it for me. When I moved here That's the first place I called. I called Jason Rollo immediately, and they got us. But you don't even have to live in College Station, right? You can live anywhere. They're going to take great care of you. But in Texas alone, they have 53 offices. Their headquarters is right here in College Station on Highway 6. The beauty of them is they're going to find and shop for the right insurance package for your family. If you've got kids that are about to start driving, if you've got some older situation, if you have a new vehicle and you need some pricing, that's what they'll do there at Rollo Insurance. They're going to do the shopping for you so that you can accomplish all of your insurance needs. The headquarters is on Highway 6 right here in College Station. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO, or go to RolloInsurance.com. That's 888-44-ROLLO or RolloInsurance.com. It's Rollo Insurance. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy, I feel like not only did this weekend have the makings of a championship team, right? The way they grinded through some of that, but I also think like it was the most that I felt like this was the team that we're used to in a while, right? Because Braden got going, Gavin ends the his series with a home run. Like there's certain things that like, all right, here we go. This is more what I was kind of expecting. And that gave me a little bit of hope for what's ahead.
And Gavin, like, you know, him, Jace, Shot, multiple other people in that line. Everybody was really struggling Saturday night, and I don't know how much they were like wound up and just trying so hard to win that game and get the big hit, but also credit Texas for great pitching. But Gavin's last at bat against Texas, I don't know what that exit velo was. That had to be about 110 plus, where he just smoked that one to left on the first pitch. If he'd got any rise on it, it might have gone 450 feet. So his last at bat against them, first at bat against Louisiana, he ripped it on the ground, and then to end it with a home run, I think, and the record, by the way, which congratulations, Gav, that's incredible. I heard them talking last night. Record stood forever. Jace broke it. Gavin broke it. You know, in this sport, times always change with bats and balls, and you just never even know. But I know that 30-something years is a damn long time, and I know that I watch Grahovec and Jace hit and Braden, and, like, that's a different level. There aren't many guys at all that have come through here since that record was set with the kind of power that those guys generate with their swings. And Grahovec is certainly one of them. Like, I say easily, it'd be very hard. I could see him being a 30 home run guy over the next couple of years. He's just, I mean, that is his MLB swing, MLB power that you see at the college level. And for him to break that record was really cool. And look, man, the bats came to life.
They did.
Again, like, I think they just needed confidence. They've been facing some really damn good pitching, and that's a good thing because they're going to see that.
More of it.
They'll see some of it this weekend. They'll see a lot of it if they advance to Omaha. So, look, you're going to – I don't care how good you are offensively. I don't care. They always say great pitching beats great hitting. And what we're not talking about enough is A&M's pitching. And I've been trying to say this during the quote-unquote slump, which is a slump by their standards, right? Look at how they pitched, even in losses. Arkansas, great pitching, sandwiched around one bad inning. You know, LSU, the two games they lost were 6-4, where LSU had to, fight and claw their way up to 6 on the road. Ole Miss clubbed them once. The other game was 4-3. They shut him out on Sunday, Sadeo. The SEC tournament. Tennessee kind of knocked them around a little bit, but that was they pulled Prager before they normally would have, and they threw Cortez and Aschenbeck the day before.
Right.
Okay, that was a different – I almost scrapped that game. You almost scrapped that game. But against Mississippi State, what'd they score, 5? I think 5 or 6, but they had they were sitting on 3 until maybe the 8th inning or 9th inning. That was a good quality pitching performance. And that was when they did Rudis as a starter. Really didn't go Cortez, Aschenbeck until they said, okay, we can win this thing.
We can win this game, yeah.
And it was really like we can win this thing and get them some work early so we don't have to use them, keep them on schedule. Pitching has been actually really good. Even against Georgia, who's killing everyone. You had a strong performance on the Friday night game. I forget, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever. Strong performance game 1. Game 2, it was a brutal first inning, and you held that offense without a run for 7 more, whatever it was.
Outscored them 19-0.
Yeah, 0. That's what I'm saying, though, 0. And even in game 3 against Georgia, they scored in I believe it was 7th or 8th to go from 2 to 5.
Right.
You held them to 5. Outside of 1 inning out of 26, 25 innings, you shut Georgia down. This pitching staff is not getting enough credit because we look at it and we go, oh, man, you're expected to have Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday guy. And we haven't consistently had that. Oh, my gosh, that's a concern. It's not optimal. That doesn't mean it has to be a concern. Prager's elite. One of the best pitchers in the country this year. He showed it again the other night. And then you've got elite long relief, sometimes unhittable long relief in Evan and Chris, and then you got a bunch of other dudes. And the way Sadeo threw yesterday, if they're going to make a run, that he'll pitch like that. Like if they make a run, it's going to be because he pitched like that. If he pitches like that, and I don't know what they viewed his stuff yesterday, and I heard Slosh say Louisiana swings a lot, and maybe that was his way of saying, hey, if they were more picky. I don't know where he was going with that part, but I know what the numbers said, and I know that was a ballsy performance to go out there in a clinch game and go out there and do what he did. Nuño, I look at college baseball right now, and I look at where things stand today. I look at everybody's on LSU. Oh, man, they're so hot. They're so hot. They had to get a walk-off to beat Wofford. They were down 5-0 in the first inning to Wofford, and they're really good. This is a tough postseason in this sport. It's brutal. And A&M went 3-0. And they cruised in 2 of the games. And up until the 9th inning yesterday, that pitching staff gave up 3 runs. So through what? Texas went 12 or 11 innings. So through 28 innings before the 29th inning, they had given up 3 runs.
That's fantastic.
It's insane.
If you think of it like
it's
that.
It's actually insane. Louisiana can hit, they bunt, they move runners, they manufacture runs.
They had
runs,
people in scoring position.
They steal bases.
Times, yeah.
They're aggressive. And then Texas, that lineup's good, really good. To hold those 2 teams like that, it was a remarkable pitching performance this weekend. And then to see them hit the way they did yesterday, like you were saying, okay, so I'm coming out of this, and we're going to see how it goes today in these games. And I'm looking to go and say, who has a better chance to win a national title? Who has a better chance to win a natty of the teams that are left? And look, there are plenty of teams that could beat A&M in a game in Omaha that are still in this field. It's pretty much all of them, maybe with the exception of whoever the 4 seed is that's playing East Carolina today. Okay, but like every team left can beat A&M, just like we can all beat each other in this thing in Omaha. But if I'm just saying, when you watch baseball, who has the best chance to win a national title of the 16 teams left? And to me, the list is, I will say Tennessee.
Yep.
Seems like the team to beat, not by a wide margin. Tennessee seems like the team to beat. And I think next 2, because I'm going to give them credit, Kentucky feels like they've got really good vibes, really good mojo going. They're feeling it right now, and they have been all year, and you got to give them credit. And I think it's Kentucky and A&M right there at 2 and 2A, or 2A and 2B.
Probably put Georgia at 3.
Maybe,
yeah,
with their offense. But, Georgia struggled this weekend a little bit too. I mean, I think
they were down 5-0 to Georgia Tech in the first inning?
To Georgia Tech, and they were down late to Army.
Yeah.
Or tied or down. I think they were tied in the 9th. Like
they were tied in the 9th.
They didn't cruise through a regional. I mean, A&M didn't either, but A&M had a cleaner path based on watching it. So, yeah, I mean, I would go, quite honestly, A&M, 2A/2B with Kentucky. Like, so the chance is real. And here's the thing. I think we spend too much time worrying about, and I do want to see the team cut down the strikeouts for sure, and hit like they did yesterday for sure. I think we spend too much time like trying to break down what's wrong, and we've kind of not paid attention
to what's right,
to the pitching and the guts and the heart and the coaching decisions that these guys are making, and just the fact that, like, I heard them say on the SEC Network last night, they're talking about the Aggies, and this guy's been beating this drum all weekend, and he's right. They can beat you how they have to beat you. And not every team that's left can say that. A&M can win a pitcher's duel.
Can I we got to hit a break, but let me a little bit to that we always we don't focus on sometimes the good, we focus on what's going wrong, and I think there's a reason for that. When you win championships, like the Astros and now like the Rangers, you find reasons why you're going to come back and win.
Yeah.
When you don't, you find reasons why you won't. And just let's get used to this. Not that you can get used to super regional every twice every 3 years, but I think winning changes mindsets, and until we do that, I think that's why it's easy to gravitate back to, but we're not doing this. But when you start winning,
that's part of the analysis, right? Yeah. But I just think we need to sit back and like compare it to the field, and how many teams can go win a 3 or 4-2, a game that's 2-2 through 9. And then the next day, they scored 9 yesterday, but the next day hit 5 home runs or score 15 runs to beat the best pitcher in college baseball 1-0 in 12 innings with a walk-off walk, and then come back 2 days later and run rule a top 5 team. How many teams are capable of winning however they have to? And there aren't many. There's only a couple, actually.
Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with more. I got a question for you. Who is somebody, football-wise and baseball-wise, we're not talking about enough? Right now, Costa Vida time, Fresh Mexican Grill. So this is going to be your last weekend to be able to get them at Olsen Field, obviously, during the Super Regional. They have a great menu there, chili lime chicken, sweet pork burritos, chili lime chicken, as I mentioned, sweet pork baja bowls, chips and queso, key lime pie. Also, when you go to in-store during the baseball season, take advantage of the home run combo, which is the favorites of Jace Lavalette and number 12, Ryan Targach. That is an entree with sweet pork enchiladas smothered in house-made queso, rice and beans, and a large drink, all for $11.99. When you go to the South College Station location, you can go early in the morning, get your breakfast on, your breakfast tacos, your coffee, have your morning meetings, set your day the right way with Fresh Mex. If you want to stay for lunch, greatness. Get the quesadilla, you got the tortilla soup, so many different options, but every ingredient matters there at Costa Vida. It's so delicious there in South College Station. Aggie owner and operator, go say hi to Holly for us. 4501 Mills Park Circle in College Station. That is 4501 Mills Park Circle in College Station. It's Costa Vida. It is TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy will be back in studio here in a moment, so we'll get into some more baseball. I do have a question, and you guys can answer this on the text line, or you can call in with it. But who's somebody we're not talking about enough, right? It could be a football person, right? Football person, a player, a coach, or it could be a baseball, but somebody that we are not focusing in on enough. And there's a couple of different guys you can mention on the baseball team. Billy, my question for you.
That question, I like it.
Okay, so who's somebody
we're
that
not talking about enough?
Yeah, and it could be football.
Yeah,
right?
football. I'll do one of each.
Okay.
Football. I think it's football. I think
You can give me both sides of the ball.
Okay, I think offensively, I think we're not talking enough about Chase Basantis at guard.
Okay.
And what that move from tackle to guard. Remember, we thought they lost him in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tough loss. He was a freshman starter. But him at guard is going to be different than him at tackle. I think he's going to excel. And I think the running back position, particularly Le'Veon Moss, Reuben Owens, but they've got depth there too with Amari Daniels and E.J. Smith. I think the running back position we don't talk about enough. I think it has a chance to be
special,
really high-end SEC. We just haven't seen it yet. But I believe, based on what I'm hearing coming out of spring, coaches, players alike, team insiders, they were really happy with the production and what they saw at that position. Defensively, I don't think we talk enough about two guys. Okay, never mind. I was going to say two guys that didn't practice, Shamar Turner and Des Ricks, who are essentially, to me, future NFL football players that missed the spring. But no, I'm going to say a guy that I don't know how much I even mentioned it, but I had two people tell me this weekend, he had a really good spring, and we're really excited about him in the fall. Albert Regis.
Okay.
On defense.
There
Albert
you go.
Regis. So there you go. Baseball, I feel like we're talking about everyone. I'm trying to think of who we're not talking about enough.
Bronny brought up something. I didn't ask him this, but he brought up somebody that I don't think we talk about enough, and that's Jackson Appel.
It's funny. In my head, that's who I was talking about, because I think we
take him for granted.
He's good, but we forget how great he is. That play he made at the plate yesterday.
Heck yeah.
That was, the tag is oftentimes as hard as a throw. And he's great. And I heard Bronny saying I'm heard he plays, but he's a clutch hitter. He can hit you a home run. He can hit you a double. He can get you just a clutch hit. He can draw a walk. He gets hit by pitches. Playing behind the plate. And he's not a big physical, imposing dude, but he's tough as hell. Tough as hell. And that path to go from Memorial to Penn to A&M is a wild one. Don't forget, this is a guy that hit a clutch home run last year at Auburn in a regional when we already knew he was going to be an Aggie playing for Penn. And then to come here and have that kind of instant impact, it kind of gets lost a little bit when you have a transfer like Braden and a true freshman like Gavin. But he has been so vital to the team. If I'm saying someone we don't talk about enough, I'm going to say this. Chris Cortez and what he's done, and again, a little overshadowed by Aschenbeck because he's been legendary, incredible when you look at the numbers and then some of the actual performances against the teams he's done. Unbelievable, rarely ever seen numbers over a course of a whole season. So Chris Cortez, to me, is a guy that, look at his numbers from last year to this year. Look at his strikeouts to walks. Look at the growth and just the confidence that he's pitching with. And
don't you feel every time he comes in all right, we're good? That's the feeling.
Yeah, the guy tried to challenge him and talk a little crap yesterday. DeBarge.
El DeBarge.
Who's hitting 360 with 24 home runs and got just some real stuff to him, and he tried to kind of go up and make it about – he really tried to make it about them too, just with his demeanor and his – throughout that at-bat. And Cortez just made him look stupid. He, fouled a couple off. He made him look ridiculous, and on that third strike, it wasn't even competitive. His growth from last year to this year, I think, is as marked as any player in Maroon and White. I mean, in any sport, like, it was unbelievable the jump he's made, because right now he's been just virtually untouchable.
Yep. Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with one final segment with Billy here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. All right, it's time to end the day with Double Dave's. Caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave, serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. As a reminder, they are not open on Mondays. I highly suggest that everybody put on the YouTube page right now, just because I think visually it'll be very appealing to everybody who watched baseball this past weekend. So get to TexAgs.com visually and make sure you come on here to TexAgs. Why was your face? What did you do? Billy?
What were you saying?
This never goes the way you,
what were you
envision
saying?
it. I was just saying everybody should come to YouTube and see what's actually happening on the YouTube page right now.
Klein, pull up a chair.
Klein, have a seat right here, bud. Everybody who was watching the games this weekend saw Klein. I don't know if performing's the right word.
Most famous Restivo, my neighbor, former neighbor. I ran him out of the neighborhood. Klein, how's it going?
Good.
That was a pretty good Griddy. Tell us about this weekend.
It was awesome.
Was it? You got a lot of attention. Well deserved. Tell me about what did Slosh do after the game, after the Texas game?
After Texas game, he gave me like a lineup card.
He said you were the MVP. That's pretty good. How's your sister handling it, Reagan? Klein's got an older sister. Is she jealous right now? Yeah, I figured.
How did the idea come together? Like, did you just tell your dad, like, I want to dance on camera?
My dad said, "You're on camera." Then I just started dancing, and then one of my friends said, "Do the Griddy," and then so I just kept on doing it.
How much do you think the Griddy affected the Texas dugout? Because I saw some tweets saying you were in their head, and like how they're doing a great job of concentrating, considering this guy's just griddying them to death.
Yep.
You think it played a role in the game?
The gear. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. How'd this outfit come together?
Just an unbuttoned shirt with a golden chain.
You know, Klein, I think this is how Justin Bieber got his start.
You know who that is?
Yeah, he knows who Justin Bieber is.
I don't know. Like,
what's wrong with you?
He was young 20 years ago.
Klein, tell him one thing to make him cooler, like that today's youth knows about that he would not.
This is awkward. This is getting really intense. Tell him something to make him cooler. You know him better than anybody. Yeah, here we go.
A bird flew in your house.
Yeah, a bird did not fly in my house. You and your dad brought a dying bird into my home, and then I came home and there were feathers in my room and on my bed. So they
on your bed?
Yeah, and you know how I am about that stuff. So, Klein, how did I handle that? Good or not so good?
Try hit my dad with a baseball bat.
Okay.
I ran him out of the house. Get out.
Klein, so my daughter knows you, by the way. She said, "Oh, I know who he is." Has it been kind of weird to hear from adults, from kids, from people in the like? Did you feel like a little bit of a celebrity yesterday in the stadium, in the ballpark? Yeah.
Everywhere I went, people were like, "Can I get a picture with you?"
Yeah. Do you like the attention?
Yeah. I also do it for the dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we gonna see more of it here in the Super? Oh.
Yep.
Any new dances, maybe? Oh, you're gonna go to Omaha too?
Wow. Are you already starting to in your head? Is there a new outfit? Are you gonna add any dances?
Maybe.
You got a week to work on it.
Yeah.
You're on the Wranglers too, right? The little.
I used to be.
Well, can you maybe Griddy the rest of the show until the show's over? It's only about 3 minutes. Can you, or 2 minutes behind us? Can you do that?
I think that's light work for him.
Yeah. So Super Regional, he'll be doing his thing.
Yep.
And no, sorry, it makes me laugh.
If y'all knew Restivo, he wishes that he could get this attention. His dad, like this is everything that Brian wishes, and poor Ashley is a saint. Ashley, or his wife, his mom, is sitting there just. I mean, she's just like, oh my god.
I'm sorry, it just makes me laugh.
Okay,
to watch him do.
Finish what you.
Let's close out. So
great weekend of baseball.
Great weekend of baseball that can hopefully only get better.
And by the way, it's great seeing that rivalry renewed the last 2 weekends between softball and baseball. But Slosh and the A&M's now 3-1 in their last 4 against Texas. 2 of them being in the postseason. To be 2-0 in the postseason against a rival like that, significant. But it's not. That game is not as significant as what they're about to play this weekend against Oregon. These 2, hopefully 2, if not 3 games, are bigger and more important. Every game A&M played, including Louisiana, from Saturday night, it only gets bigger from now on. So the Ducks are going to be a big one. We'll talk. I'll probably come in midweek.
He's getting tired.
I'll probably come in midweek too, and I can talk longer than he can Griddy.
This I know.
That's a battle that I know I can win. Don't test me, Klein.
But if you think about the way the Arkansas series went, the way this went, like they're playing at a championship level.
It's the chain. It's the chains for me.
I want you to wear the chain.
Imagine David Pierce with that in his ear for 4 hours. It's like a haunting.
All right, that's going to do it for TexAgs. Thank you,
All
Billy.
right,
Appreciate you. I don't know what we have planned for you tomorrow, but I know we'll have somebody famous on the program. That's the game plan. We got a lot of things planned for it. All right, actually, we have nothing planned for it at all. Out there and everywhere. All right, folks, that's going to do it for TexAgs Radio on a Monday. We will see you mañana.